Hello, everyone. Now on YouTube and on ColorCast, of course, welcome to this cast here of the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Ottawa Senators. I am joined by my CSM colleague and classmate, Mr. Chris May. How's it going today, Mayday?
I'm doing well, Mike. We've already collaborated on something today for school. That was a good time, and I'm ready to settle in here and watch some good old fashioned bottom 10 and teams in the league hockey.
So
what's better?
I must say I'm a little bit disappointed that you're not wearing your an Ottawa Senators hat, but then again, I guess you're home, so you have to wear that Twins hat that you wear only at home.
It's true. It's because you don't want to know why. Because
Why?
There's a bit of paint on the back from when I was working. For one summer, I worked for the city, so there's like a big paint splash on the back of it. So I don't wear it out in public much, but
it's a perfect Zoom hat.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Of course. So with the Montreal Canadiens at 49 points in 69 games and your Ottawa Senators at 56 points in 68 games, that's about a 7-point difference. Does the winner of this game really win, or does the loser of this game win?
That's a great question. I would say that the loser of this game does in fact win, because I mean the winner of this game gets less per se than the loser does. I mean the loser gets a better chance at drafting better in the draft, which at this point both of these teams, that's their main focus. So yeah, I think if you lose this game, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if you win, there's nothing ever wrong with winning. Of course, you always want to play to win. But if the bounces don't go your way, if you don't get the end result, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be happy that you might have a better chance of landing one of these top guys in the draft.
And I was just saying before you joined, it's so weird counting backwards in the standings instead of counting forwards. And also, we actually have my friend Sarah here chanting or saying "Go Habs, go" from a friendly Leaf fan. But then again, Battle of Ontario between the Habs or the Leafs and the Sens. I guess there's the animosity there. So I guess Sarah does have a reason, a little bit more so to cheer for the Canadiens. But yeah, just I don't know, like how as a Sens fan, I guess you're a little bit more used to counting backwards in the standings than forwards, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there was a long run there, I'd say, between the Cup run in 2007 to I'd say 2018 when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, that the Sens were a pretty consistent playoff contender. But now it's been a struggle for the past 4 seasons, ever since that Chris Kunitz OT winner. Yeah, for sure. I've been used to looking scrolling way down on all the apps and all the standings to find the Sens, and it's been tough. But I think now, as we kind of get closer to the end of this year into the start of next year, they do have pieces. They're far along in this rebuild. I don't think it's over, like Pierre Dorian said, which was tough. I hate how he said that.
We're a team.
Yeah, we're a team. I mean, that was in the darkest days of it. Now they're far from that. They have the pieces. They just have to, find the complementary kind of veterans, the free agents. They do have the pieces there to create a good competitive team again. And they're all kind of coming through now, and most of them are going to be there next year, especially with Jake Sanderson now coming from college, signing his deal. Yeah, I like him a lot. He'll be in the building tonight for sure, so that's exciting. He's got a bit of a hand issue, so I don't think he's going to play in the next couple of weeks, but he's going to play a couple games this year, and he's super exciting. He's the big piece, and they've got plenty other ones that are coming up that they've drafted with all these high draft picks. So it's promising times, it's exciting times, but you kind of just want to fast forward to the start of next year, because I think that's when you're really going to start seeing it.
You know who else might be in the building tonight?
Yeah, I might know. I think I know.
And in goal for the Montreal Canadiens?
They haven't named the starter yet?
I'm on dailyfaceoff.com, which is usually pretty reliable at announcing starting goaltenders and whatnot. Yeah. They actually have not named the starter yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Although Carey Price,
yeah,
the gentleman over here, I just realized that my Dallas Cowboys banner's in the way, but I should probably move it more like this somehow. Mm-hmm. Nah, maybe not. Anyway, Carey Price might make his return to the lineup tonight.
I'll be extremely exciting. I would be very happy for you guys. I mean, it's no secret how much he means to the team, and you see when he's not there how hard they fell this year. So I would love to see him start. I would love to see the Sens go against the best goalies and the best players, just to get some seasoning against those guys. So yeah, no, I would love that.
Got some again some boost sends from our Leaf fan here on YouTube, and also
I'm used to it from the Leafs fans,
yeah,
but I
of
can I
course,
could
of
bring out
course.
some I could bring out some stats for Leafs fans if we want
Yeah, I think we can do that too, but we'll save that for another time for
later. I
sure.
won't do that. I won't do that.
But I want to ask you also, should I like I'm very I know it's a little off topic, but I'm strongly considering getting rid of this Dallas Cowboys banner behind me and replacing it with a nice Montreal Canadiens towel. Like, are
Right.
you like in favor of that, or do you
Um,
care, or like what should I do?
I mean, it's your other team, right? It's your team. You kind of have to live
I'm
with
not
them.
proud of them though.
I know, but you kind of have to live with them at this point, right?
I don't know, man. I'm just so frustrated. Feels like I mean, I think Patrick here on ColorCast knows all too well. I mentioned it in his cast yesterday. How it's just, I feel like this year there was no excuse for, like, I have no explanation for how the Cowboys just pooched it. I have no explanation, but and I'm more proud and more excited for the last place Montreal Canadiens right now than I am the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you have reason to be excited too. I mean, they've definitely picked it up. I think St. Louis was a great hire. I think he can identify with the players and especially the star players, the young players. I think that's a guy that walking into the room, you'd be like, my goodness, it'd make you want
Yeah,
to work hard.
like at the very least, I'm actually going to include that take in my demo because it was really good on our CSM sports wraps that we did there. I
Yeah.
basically said that at the very least, even if Marty St. Louis doesn't have the experience of a established head coach, at the least he will command the respect of his players because they know that he has overcome being undrafted, overcome being undersized, and having to really find his way in the NHL. And not only that, but just become an all-star, superstar player and and become a Hall of Famer and win a Stanley Cup. And just, but I also feel like he's one of those superstars that isn't just like naturally talented because again, was undrafted, he had to overcome
Mhm.
everything that he did. But he also, even at the highest level, he still worked so hard because he knew that's what it took to stay in the NHL as an undersized player.
Yeah, I mean, I think he gained those guys respect. He didn't even have to say a word. If they were hockey fans, which I'm sure they all are, and they know his story, it speaks for itself. Just like you said, he's quite an inspiration, and it's amazing that the Montreal Canadiens drafted Cole Caulfield and Marty St. Louis, being one of the best French-born players of all time, can step in and become the head coach. It really worked perfectly. It's a perfect guy for him to mentor and a great guy for Caulfield to look up to. I don't think there's a better combination in the league between a coach and a player.
That Cole Caulfield was named the Rookie of the Month of March because he produced at a point per game pace, literally,
Yeah.
and just I find ever since Marty St. Louis took over, I've been saying this time and time again on these streams and casts that I've been doing for Habs games. Is just they've been in every single game except for maybe 4 of them out of like 23 games. They've been, even if they lost by like 3 or 4 goals, they would come back. Like remember last week against the Florida Panthers, they were down 4-1. They
Yeah.
come back tied up 4-4, even though they lose 7-4. But look, they're competitive. They're down 3-1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa, a place they haven't won since 2017. What do? They come back, tie it up. They surrender a late power play goal in the second
Yeah.
period. And then what do? They score minutes into the third, and then they win in the shootout.
Yeah. No, they've really picked it up. I mean, I think when would you say was the worst time of the season?
I would say the worst time in the season was probably in December, January, when Jake Allen was hurt.
Yeah.
Caulfield was essentially on the verge, going back and forth between Laval and
Yeah.
Montreal. And every single defenseman was injured between Joel Edmondson, David Savard, obviously Shea Weber, Carey Price were not even close to being in the picture. Just I would say that, and then Drouin obviously was in and out of the lineup as well, and that's a whole other story. But I won't really get into that. I feel
Yeah.
bad for the guys. Just now, he just can't stay healthy physically and mentally, and he's just become the whipping boy of Habs fans. I try
Yeah.
not
I've
to.
seen that.
Yeah, like it's just some of it is fair, but to make it personal and to like attack him for not being physically and mentally healthy, that's where it crosses the line. So
Yeah, without a doubt, it's a little harsh. it's a little harsh, and I get frustrations about the performance and the team's performance. I'm sure that's where all the frustration really comes from, is the team's performance. If they're in the playoffs and he's out or he's injured or whatever, this isn't that big a deal. Like last year, it wasn't really talked about when they were on their cup run, was it?
No, not so much. I mean, because they were succeeding without him,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what type of player, what type of guy he is behind the scenes, but on the ice, he's a skilled, talented player. He was the one who scored the Canadiens' first goal this season in Toronto.
yeah,
So, and that was a great moment for him. That was an amazing moment for him. And it's just the issue has been his consistency and at times just making a brain dead pass to turn away a great scoring chance, or doing a little too extra to try to create a scoring chance, or a bad pass in the neutral zone or offensive zone that ends up going the other way and ends up in the
yeah,
back of the net. So
yeah.
I'm actually just going to open my door here real quick, just get some
Yeah,
air
no
here
problem,
because
no
it's
problem.
a little stuffy out there, eh?
It's 7 o'clock. It is a little stuffy. It's a nice day.
I know. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
All right, sounds good. So we'll get the stream going for the game.
There we go. Much better. Yeah, I didn't mean to leave you hanging there, mate.
No, all good, all good. I'm just pulling up the stream for the game now.
Yeah, I got mine all ready to go. We'll make sure that obviously we should be pretty much in queue here. Mostly, it's mostly the Alfredson era when obviously that's when the Sens were good. That's where our Leaf fan Sarah here really did not appreciate them, of course. So
yeah, I get that.
And that's like, with the Danny Heatley Spezza, who's with the Leafs now, interestingly enough. And
that's wild to me. That's wild to me that he's with the Leafs now.
I can't like he's become a effective journeyman player in his late 30s now. 39 years old, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as long as his legs keep up, the skill's never going anywhere with him.
Not just the legs, but the intelligence also.
Yeah, the intelligence and the skill will always be there. Just naturally gifted.
Mm-hmm. So now if the Sens do, and again, if you're cheering from, I always say that when you're in a position where your team is just better off tanking it out to maximize their draft position, if they do win, you want them to win because of guys that you know are going to be there on the team next year. So for the Sens, for the Canadiens, I say it's Suzuki, Caulfield, Romanov, guys like also even Ryan Poehling, guys that you know that are young and want to ideally develop them into more established players on the roster next year. Who are those guys for you on the Sens, would you say?
Yeah, so of course the top line is going to be the top line there for a while in Ottawa. It's Josh Norris, who's having a really breakout season. I'm super impressed with him. And then Drake Batherson and Brady Tkachuk, who of course Batherson and Tkachuk are locked in, so they're definitely going to be around for a while. And then you look down the lineup, you got Tim Stützle, obviously. You hope he can break out and become a superstar. You've got a guy like Alex Formenton, who's more of a depth, kind of gritty, speed, penalty kill guy. He's going to be around for a while if all goes well. Matthew Joseph, who they just traded for from Tampa, he is looking amazing over the weekend.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah, over the weekend here, traded him for Nick Paul. Over the weekend, he had 7 points in 2 games against Detroit. So he's a guy tonight I'd be looking at. And then in terms of more guys who haven't been on the roster, you've obviously got Shabbat, but then Jake Sanderson, he's going to be quite the defenseman. He'll be there. A guy from North Dakota is another guy from North Dakota up front, who it really sucks because he looked like he was going to have a great rookie season this year, but he had a shoulder injury. He had surgery on his shoulder, Shane Pinto.
Yes, he scored in his debut, I think, last year against the Canadiens.
Yeah, he scored his first NHL goal. I think he was a couple games in, but he scored his first NHL goal at the end of last year against the Habs. He lost out actually on the Hobey Baker to Caulfield last year, but he's a heck of a player. It sucks with his injury this year, but he might get into some games. And then they've got a couple other first-round picks like Ridley Gregg, I think it is Greg. He's really good. He's looking good. He's the captain of the Brandon Wheat Kings. He's a beast. So there's plenty of these young guys. They really do have a great farm system. I'm sure I'm missing a few of those guys, but that's mainly the core with the top line, Stützle, and then Formenton, Pinto, Joseph, and then a couple of the defensemen in Greig.
We were talking about before though in before the stream. It was about wasn't wait, hang on, where was it going with that? I forgot
No problem.
for a second. Anyway, yeah, just yeah, completely just emptied, just fell out of my brain there, but that's all good.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Do you think, I want to ask you before though, do you think Josh Norris, oh yeah, Slapkovsky, that's where I was going. So,
Yeah.
So in terms of, you were saying that Juraj Slapkovsky, the Slovak, the big Slovak winger in terms of the draft would be your ideal pick for the Sens. But do you think maybe they should go that route, or should they look at another center to perhaps supplement Josh Norris or Tim Stützle in Matthew Savoie or even Logan Cooley if the Sens have high enough draft position?
So I think that Slafkovsky would be a great fit for the Sens for for two main reasons. For one, their center depth is probably okay if you think about the guys coming up, because you've got Norris one. You're probably
is Norris a number one center though?
In my opinion, he is.
Okay.
In my opinion, he is. He's a 30 goal scorer. Yeah, I think he's, he stepped in last year against really tough centermen in the Canadian division there, and he performed extremely well. So I do think you're okay with Norris as your one center. That top line is very good. I wonder if they'll be able to do anything tonight, and we'll see that firsthand. And then at 2C, you've got Stützle. And then I think they're thinking 3C is going to be Pinto, who's a good defensive center, would be a great third line center, and then Ridley Gregg. So in terms of kind of forecasting for the future, they have the four centermen that they want, and I think that's how they're going to line them up. And another reason is I think they found it tough finding people to play with Tim Stützle. I think they've had a tough time getting
he dives so much that they get in their way.
Yeah, we can talk about him diving and
oh my god, yeah.
But,
Habs fans will always rip him for how much he just floats around out there. Well, not floats, but dives around out there.
I mean, you guys do employ Brendan Gallagher, so I wouldn't talk too much about that. But
come on, Gallagher's not a diver.
Yes, okay. Well,
not really.
I think they're kind of one and the same. They both take contact, try and draw penalties. I mean, yeah, Stützle, he has dove a couple times. I will say it's it has happened, but I think he's gotten a bit stronger on his feet this year. Last year it was worse. But they found they've struggled to find some skill around him, and everyone wants him to shoot more, but he still passes a lot. And if you get a big winger to play on his wing like that he can set up, I think that works really well. So I think as a compliment to Stützle, Slafkovsky would be good, and because they do, I think, have in mind the four centermen they want, and they're already in the organization. So those are my two main reasons for Uri.
Yeah, I will definitely say that Stützle is a very, very skilled and just an amazing passer of the puck. So that I think will be. Do you think that maybe he would overtake Josh Norris as the number one center role eventually?
It would be tough for me. I think they want two, like, kind of a 1A, 1B situation, in my opinion. Gotcha. I think Norris has such incredible chemistry with Brady Tkachuk, like they're best friends, and Brady's not getting moved off that top line. So I think technically the top line is going to be for the next 5-6 years, Tkachuk, Norris, Batherson. And then Stützle's line will be kind of the 1B with maybe Kevin Fiala, maybe Claude Giroux on the wing, and then maybe Slafkovsky if things go well in the draft. I mean, these are the moves that the Sens fans have been dreaming of as the rebuild kind of comes to an end here. Those are the two names that the fan base wants the most, Giroux and Fiala.
Yeah, so, I was going to say for a second there that, like, the same way that us Habs fans, it's like we talked about, they're going to sign Patrice Bergeron, never in a million years. But wait, Kent Hughes represented Patrice Bergeron. So same thing with Sens fans and Claude Giroux. But wait, Claude Giroux played for the Gatineau Olympics in the Q. So maybe there's that connection there.
Well, his wife's from Ottawa. He spends his summer there. His summers there too. And he grew up there. So that's that's the big reason why. And apparently, according to Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts, he's done some research on it, on the team. But I think it really comes down to the success he has in Florida this year. If he wins a cup, I think there's a much better chance that he does pull the trigger on it than if he doesn't.
I would stay in Florida if I were him, though. I would really be down to stay in Florida.
It's tempting. They're a great team, but I think
but it's also Florida.
I think if you look at Ottawa and Giroux signs there, they're a borderline playoff team next year.
No, for sure. I mean, Ottawa, I thought was going to be a borderline playoff team this year. Just they didn't quite take the steps forward that we thought they would from the year before at the end of the year, where they were basically
had some bad luck. But
yeah,
I
also
digress.
it's the COVID situations, of course.
The Habs have had bad luck too, so you have to get some bounces going your way if you want to have a really good season. And for both of our teams here, it's been a couple bad bounces. Like the Sens with the COVID thing at the beginning of the year, they got hammered by it in the league, made them play through it, which was tough. And then I think the Habs with the goalie injury, with the Allen injury, really did not help them out.
And speaking of goalie injury, Jake Allen is actually going to be in front of the net, so it will not be the return of Carey Price just yet. But Brendan Gallagher, we mentioned off the top, is back in the lineup tonight. So he missed 8 games due to that lower body injury. I think I forget how it happened. I think it was like an awkward fall into the boards, but I just really hope that he actually did talk about he's going to use this full off season to really strengthen his conditioning and the way, like, really focus on things off the ice the way he has wanted to the last couple of seasons, but hasn't had the chance to because of COVID. But Mayday, we are off or almost about to start.
Yeah, I see them. I see them. Are we synced up here? I see them hovering by the face-off circle here. Is that what you see?
Yeah, Josh Norris and Nick Suzuki are waiting for the Mashiach or the linesman to drop the puck.
Okay, here
we are off. There we go. I think we're on the same point here.
I think I might be like a second behind you, but that's no big deal. We're good.
Yeah, we're perfect. So Canadians win the draw, taking a swipe at it, but missing was Michael Del Zotto. And the Sens will just clear it down the Canadians' end, and we'll have an early icing.
What a start. Thrilling start there.
Unreal. Just the best way to start a hockey game.
See, I agree with these keys to the game here. Limit chances off the rush for Montreal.
The Canadians, actually, they really did a great job stretching the ice against Tampa last.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about tonight. Some of their speed and their other rushes. Ottawa's defense is not the most fleet of foot. So.
Well, right now they get into the Canadian zone. Kachuk took a swipe at it, but just missed the net. Del Zotto leaves it off behind him there for Matthew Joseph. Back to Del Zotto. Del Zotto quick up ice through the middle. That is Colin White. Colin White loses it there to Paul Byron. Edmondson goes D to Romanov. Back to Byron and out with speed across center over the Sens line. Byron can't quite get by the defenseman Nick Holden. Finally is taken back, though, by Nikita Zaitsev and back out to center. As we welcome in also, we have another member joining our cast. Got user Ivanka joining the cast. It's my mom, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So
very
nice.
Watch
out what you say.
Oh, I won't say anything crazy.
I know. So the Sens now just settling things down in their own end.
The only way I'll say something crazy is maybe if Mike Hoffman scores.
Fair enough. Yeah, right. Played what, like 3 times against the Sens this season? Or twice already?
Yeah, I think twice.
Yeah.
He was a good Sen, but
until he, his wife wasn't a good Sens wife, but that's another story. Yeah. As they cycle out of the corner and the Canadians end. Passes too long there for Artem Zub, but he holds the line. Artem Zub throws it into the corner. Kachuk, or rather Drake Batherson cycling in the corner with Stützle. Now here's Batherson being watched by Justin Barron. Batherson gets knocked off there by Corey Schoenemann. And Barron will get it to Schoenemann, and he'll swipe it ahead to Hoffman. There you go, Mike Hoffman, former Ottawa Senator. And over the line, shot's just wide. Rebound by Evans back in front, but no one home there. And Alex Formanton will turn it over. Pass in front to Evans. Shot is just wide of Anton Forsberg's net. Another turnover forced by Evans. Evans shoots, stopped by Forsberg. Rebounds loose, and they score! Brendan Gallagher opens the scoring for Montreal. Barely 2 minutes in. It is 1-0.
Yeah, it looked like Forsberg wasn't happy with something. I wonder what it was. I wonder if he got bumped a little bit, but that's a classic Gallagher goal there, Langer.
right off the rebound, picking up the trash. We also welcome in potato number 1 into the cast. Early start here for the Canadians. Just a bad turnover there behind your boy Hoffman forced that turnover there. Not once, but twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, good hard work down low from Montreal here.
And he bumped Anton Forsberg. Is this coming back?
Yeah, that's I saw Forsberg turn around and start talking to the ref right away. So, well, I'm sure there'll be a review. We'll see what they decide.
I think they would be showing them talking about reviewing it, but they're not. I think that DJ Smith is considering it.
Yeah.
Yep, looks like he's gonna challenge it because he just pointed his hand forward. Just also FYI, I was actually. Do you remember a game where the Sens were up 4-1 against the Canadians back in 2014 and then blew it? And Robin Leonard just lost his you-know-what?
Yeah. Leonard did that a lot in Ottawa. He was pretty young back then, pretty fiery. I don't know if I remember that exact game, but I'll tell you what I do remember. Oh, nice. I remember all the playoff matchups back in like the early 2010s.
When I remember that. Did Zoo push Hoffman into Forsberg a little bit?
That's maybe? Tough. That's why that's where there's always this gray area. It does look like Zub kind of rides him in. There's nothing really Hoffman can do. We'll see what the refs decide.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, again, it's Hoffman in front of the net, not Gallagher. If it's Gallagher, it's automatically no goal because
yeah. Well, that happened last year when these two teams played.
Remember, there was a game also speaking of those playoff series. I think it was 2012 where it was a goal where I think it was Mika Zaban. It was Mika.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah. It was, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you like to think that those kind of even themselves out, but we'll see what the call is here. It's a good goal, Langer. It's a good goal. I think it was because Zub did kind of ride him in. Like, there's really nothing Hoffman could do there. Well, if it's Brendan Gallagher, he probably punches Forsberg in the head. Yeah. I'm doing it solo now. Yeah, no, it's all good. Do you want me to do the call? Do you want me to do the play-by-play? All right, well. Oh, really? Okay, well. Okay. I'll just kind of hold it down. If anything big happens, I'll let the people know.
There we go. We're good. I think the stream kept actually going because you were running it. So I believe that we are good.
No, yeah, it was just me in there.
Yeah, we're perfect. Okay.
By my lonesome.
And the
Montreal's, they have a power play.
Challenges, the missed coach's challenge. So here's Hoffman out the point. Hoffman to Caulfield. Caulfield walks in, shoots, gets deflected wide. Dvorak tries to take a hack at it, but it is taken there by Matthew Joseph. And Strabble in front. Oh. Dvorak could not quite get to that, and it is finally cleared there by Travis Hamonic.
Power play looking good, Langer.
It's been much better. Again, like everything, it's been much better under Marty St. Louis as here's Rem Pitlick cycling it behind. Quick shot by Armia. Stopped by Forsberg. Rebound is loose. Pitlick doesn't shoot. Throws it back to the point. And now a quick shot by Jesse Ilonen getting some power play time. Stopped by Forsberg. And it is finally cleared once again by the Senators with 30 seconds to go on the power play.
Anton Forsberg hanging in there.
Is he the answer in net, or are you hoping? I guess the Matt Murray experiment is over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. Not so much that his play hasn't been good, but it hasn't been. But more so just the fact that he can't stay healthy.
It's not so much that his play hasn't been good. It's just that it hasn't been good.
I mean, he had a good
I
stretch.
know.
He had a good stretch after he got called up from the AHL, but he just can't stay healthy. You just can't pay a guy that much money that you can't trust to start games for you, right? So, yeah, Matt Murray experiment's over. Forsberg has had a great year, and I think he's a good guy to kind of bridge the gap to when they get their next number one.
I mean, you never know. You can
I like him.
always like he could also come back maybe healthy during the playoffs. And a quick shot is stopped by Jake Allen there off of I think that was Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, Captain Brady Tkachuk. But yeah, you never know. He could come back healthy in a playoff series with that experience of winning a Stanley Cup, and maybe that'll help the Sens. Who knows?
He could. I'm interested in seeing what they do if they buy him out, if they make him the backup. They do have a couple of young guys. They have a guy who debuted on Friday against Detroit, Mads Sogard. He got a win in his first start. He's a massive Danish guy. I think he's like 6'5" or 6'4". He's huge, and he looked really good. So I think they've got high hopes for him. And then they've got a young Finnish kid who plays in Kingston, Levi Miralainen, who's really solid as well. So there's a couple of really promising goalie prospects, but I think Forsberg's good to bridge the gap.
So Paling forces a turnover. Shot by Edmondson is right on to Forsberg, but he denies it with the Sens logo on his jersey, forcing a whistle and a face-off to his left.
Montreal's been the better team here so far, without a doubt.
I mean, Ottawa, I think, has one shot so far?
Yeah.
Talked about against Tampa how the Habs just in the first 2 minutes did not look prepared at all.
Yeah.
Because they ended up getting an early power play, but did less than nothing with it. Not just nothing. They did less than nothing with it. Yeah. Whereas at least tonight, they are all over the Sens. So I think whatever Marty St. Louis said in terms of being like, guys, we have to start way better than we did on Saturday. If that's what he said, clearly they're listening thus far.
Yeah, no, they look good.
So we welcome in SCE Viewer, Ski Viewer number 4 to the cast. Welcome. Got Corey Schooneman spinning around, turns it over though at the line. Luckily, Gallagher was in good position to prevent any scoring chance there for Travis Hamonic breaking in. But back comes Hamonic with a pass in front, too long there in front for Matthew Joseph. Back the other way, Gallagher, long pass, doesn't find anyone except Jordan Harris playing in his second game, rimming it in behind Forsberg's net. Taken by Ottawa, but off of a skate and out of play. That's a fast first 5 minutes there.
I know, flew by. Yeah. Even with a goal and a review. No, it's been good.
Well, for the Habs at least.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, like I was saying earlier, a loss is a win tonight. So
exactly. A loss is a win. It's so weird. Honestly, it's so weird. Even when the Cowboys were just awful in 2020, that was the first time I was in a position, actually, first time in 3 years, because the Cowboys or the Canadians were off or almost as awful as they were at the beginning of this year back in 2017, 2018, when they were last in the Eastern Conference and ended up getting a top pick out of that one. But then talk about the Canadians-Hurricanes rivalry. The Canes, I think, were the 9th worst team in the NHL that year.
Yeah.
They ended up getting the 2nd overall pick and taking Svechnikov.
Yeah.
What
a good pick that was, yeah. That worked out for him.
And, to be fair, the Sens got Brady out of that draft, but the Habs got stuck with, They forced themselves.
Talk about that? You want to talk about that at all? Or
I don't know.
Not even trying to be smart.
No, I know what you mean. Honestly, I just find that I'm more annoyed at Habs fans that have clung on to Kotkaniemi than anything, because to me, they fired Bergevin, they brought in Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon that have done a phenomenal job so far. So the fact that the Canadians have moved on, both from just not matching the offer sheet and to firing the GM who basically drafted him, failed to develop him, and failed to keep him in the first place. The fact the Canadians and everyone involved has moved on, just move on. Move on, Habs fans,
Move on, and I never really rated Kotkaniemi that much, to be honest. I don't think you're losing all that.
Well, he did have a very respectable rookie season.
He
He
did.
had like 10 goals, about 40 points, if I'm not mistaken. But then
Mhm.
injuries, and then this just was never given the second chances for his mistakes by the coaching staff. And I just think that's one big thing the Canadians are going to emphasize under this new regime is just player development. They're allowing, St. Louis, when talking about Caulfield, said that as a young player, you're going to make mistakes. It's just you got to respond from them,
Yeah.
and they're giving Caulfield the opportunity to respond instead of trying to sign a veteran two-way aging winger to try to replace him,
Yeah. That's a good point.
So right now play has resumed. We're just under 14 minutes to go here as Dvorak over the Sens line all alone, though, waiting for help. Loses it, though. And now back the other way comes at Austin Watson. Watson will just flip it into the corner, go for a change. Taken now by Romanov. D-to-D pass to Corey Schuneman. And Armia now will start the rush the other way, joined by Romanov and Hoffman. Hoffman will just flip it onto Forsberg. He'll cover it up for a whistle. And also thank you to our ColorCast audience for over 1,000 likes already in the first period. Also, just by the way, Mayday, just wanted to,
Yeah.
I was talking about Gladman the other day. We're doing a play-by-play, but also he gave out the assignments and the final assignments in case you did not hear about that.
I heard we have to be a bit of a one-man band for that assignment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, it should be good.
I'm Mike Lang, joined by Mike Lang, and now here's Mike Lang with the sideline report.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's going to be a lot of jumping around.
Love it.
Yeah,
As,
no,
Josh,
it'll be good.
Yeah, Josh Anderson's quick shot off the face-off there got blocked. Hoffman with a shot gets blocked as well, and in some pain, I think looked like was that Artyom Zub or Nick Holden that blocked that?
Yeah, I think it might have been Holden.
It was a little gingerly on his way up there, but we'll keep an eye out for him, and the Canadians just ice it right there. So we'll have a face-off in the Canadian zone.
It was Mr. Oh no, it was Eric Brandstrom?
I think Brandstrom might have blocked I think two players got like bad blocks over there. I think Brandstrom was maybe the last one, but there, yeah, I saw right there Josh Norris.
Oh, it's Josh Norris. Oh, you don't want to see that as a Sens fan. You don't want to see that, but I think he's okay.
So you got Jake Evans in front of Tim Stützle, now won by Stützle, but right on it is Edmondson to knife it out to Mike Hoffman. Hoffman over the Sens line, backhands it to Anderson, but a nice defensive poke check there by Travis Hamonic, rather, to force that the other way. Now here comes Batherson with a pass ahead, is a little far out of reach for Alex Formanton. Now cycling out of the corner, here comes Stützle with a shot that gets deflected and blocked. Stützle hits it right back up, though. Tries to feed Batherson, but Anderson was in good position to force the interception. And now Hoffman through center will drop it off for Jordan Harris, who has a little bit of speed. Harris with a quick shot. Stopped there by Anton Forsberg. Thought about playing it, but he'll just cover up for a whistle.
Forsberg's got a good glove. I've been really impressed with that. That's something that Matt Murray never could really get going, was the ability to consistently catch pucks. And Forsberg's he's been sound. He's been good at being confident in the glove hand. As a goalie, I'm sure you appreciate that.
As a goalie, though, I don't appreciate him still wearing those Winnipeg Jets pads and mask for like 2 weeks into his tenure as an Ottawa Senator.
Yeah, no, poor guy, though. He got put on waivers like 6 times in like 2 weeks. I'm sure he wouldn't want to get the full Sens gear because he didn't know if he was going to stay.
But at that point, as a goaltender, I just would. That's why I always had white pads for the last like 5 years that I played, because you never know where you're gonna go, and it's just you can't go wrong with white pads, like what Fleury had in the Pens Cup final run in 2008-09. Here's a chance for Stützle. The shot gets blocked, rebound stopped by Allen, and he'll dive there. It's not Stützle, it's actually Austin Watson with a nice chance there for Ottawa. A little bit of skerfuffling after the whistle, but we'll have a face-off right next to Jake Allen's net. Might have just invented a word there, skerfuffle.
Probably the best chance of the game for the Sens there.
And David Savard, he made the initial block, to his credit. I find like he was also just a whipping boy for Habs fans earlier in the season as just, they
He's been
overpaid him.
nasty, dude.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's been solid. He's been
I've seen him make some great offensive plays, like scored some really nice goals recently.
Like he's like how can I just he's very clumsy when doing so, but he does it. He's a willing like a defenseman that when he sees an opportunity to create offense, he'll try.
Yeah.
So he's been good.
With the Habs offseason moves last year or this past offseason, I thought they were going to be quite good. I think what I didn't see coming was the Shea Weber and Carey Price, ordeals, but I liked him. The Savard signing, I really liked the Dvorak trade. Yeah.
The beginning of the end for me was when Corey Perry didn't re-sign.
Yeah.
Even Philip Deneau, I was okay with walking away because I thought, they're just going to figure it out with Kotkaniemi, and they would be forced to have him as a second-line center, and he'd be forced into just the opportunity of figuring it out, and I'd be okay with that. But just again, when Corey Perry didn't come back, and then the offer sheet, and then the Price and Weber not coming back, like even the Deneau going to LA wasn't the worst thing to me at first, but now it doesn't look so good. But either way, just that Perry not resigning was the beginning of the end for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did forget about the no. Actually, that's a tough one. You lose a really, really good defensive center there, and that was a problem with the Habs early in the season, wasn't it? Keeping pucks out of the net.
I just think that LA is the perfect place for Deneau because he's as a second line center behind Kopitar. He between Kopitar and Deneau, they'll shut down anybody, any of your top two. Like they could shut down a McKinnon and Kadri out west. They could shut down an Eichel and Chandler Stevenson, but still, they could shut down anyone. So but also that doesn't put as much pressure on Deneau to produce offense and still put up 20 goals this year so far.
Yeah. No, that is a great fit. That's a match made in heaven for sure.
Yeah, Canadians are keeping a little bit of pressure in the Sens zone here. Again, Schuenemann with a shot that goes wide. Rebound comes out in front, but cleared by the front of the net. And Corey Schuenemann, I think, just hit one off the post. Barron keeps the play in for the moment, but the Sens do regain possession and flip it out to the neutral zone.
Habs look great.
They're just, just a great start so far for the Canadians as Nick Suzuki looks to keep it going over the Ottawa line. Caulfield flips it behind the net to Pitlick, to Suzuki. Suzuki drops it back, but no one home. Taken back there by, I believe that is Nick Holden. But he is able to start the breakout, taken across or out of the zone by Connor Brown. Back the other way comes Caulfield, though. Caulfield forces interception. Caulfield off the side of the net and stays in play. But the Sens do manage to exit their zone, led by Connor Brown. Passes too long for, I don't know who that was. Who's 45, Mayday?
Parker Kelly.
Parker Kelly. He's not listed on my roster here that I have in front of me. But anyway, taken back by Caulfield. We do have a penalty coming up. David Savard is getting called for interference. So the Sens will get their first power play of the game.
And this is where they're dangerous. I'm sure you feel kind of the same way about the Habs. Their power play is looking good. Sens power play is looking good right now too.
I find there's always been that threat though with Nick Stützle, nice. Tim Stützle just being able to as a creative playmaking, poised with the puck type of player, that's exactly what you need on any power play. And he's able, I just find what is so crucial nowadays for power plays, or maybe even forever, is guys that can either deceptively shoot the puck on net, meaning look like they're going to pass it, but then shoot at the last minute, or obviously the one-timer from Ovechkin, Stamkos, Matthews. If you have a great one-timer, then you're obviously going to be a great weapon on the power play, but also guys that can look off goaltenders, look off defensemen, look like you're going to shoot, but then the last minute slide one across to someone who's like wide open, and then that just creates so much time and space. Yeah,
and the Sens kind of have two of those guys in Batherson and Stützle. They've got a nice balanced power play when Thomas Chabot is healthy, and it sucks right now that he's done for the year. That's probably the biggest blow the Sens could have taken. But it's okay because, as we said, draft picks are important, whatever season's done, in terms of playoffs. But just wait for this power play. Watch Josh Norris. He is that one-timer guy. And he's got a good one. He's got, I would say, one comparable to those guys you listed off in Ovechkin and Stamkos. I think he's top 3. I think he's 4th highest in power play goals this year. And watch him post up off to the left-hand side, or I guess from our camera angle, it'll be the right-hand side. Watch him post up at the right dot area, and he'll get a couple one-timers on this power play, I guarantee it. And then you got Brady Tkachuk in net with the 2 passers, Stützle and Batherson, and then Norris the shooter, and kind of Shabbat, normally the rover up top. It's a pretty good power play.
Let's see if you got a little bit of Tony Romo in you there, Mayday.
I'm telling you. Well, I mean, he's automatic. He does it. Like we'll see it here. I'm sure he'll at least shoot one if they get set up.
But Evans wins the faceoff, and Romanov will get the pass from Corey Schooneman and wait and clear it down the ice for an initial clear. Romanov forechecking there also.
Now they got Eric Brandstrom back there at the point. He's been a bit underwhelming. You traded Mark Stone for him, so you'd be hoping for a bit more consistency, but he's a bit of a water bug out there. Kind of skips around. He's quick.
And right behind the net, turnover forced here is Josh Norris across there to Brandstrom. Brandstrom gets it back on the give and go to Norris. Norris's shot just goes a little wide there. Stützle takes it on the half wall there. To the point to Brandstrom. Stützle down low to Batherson. Batherson escapes Edmondson, gets it to the point. Across to Stützle. Shot pass in the front of the net, just misses. Taken back there by Josh Norris to the point. To Brandstrom. Brandstrom back to Stützle. Brandstrom, one-timer to Norris. Nice blocker save by Allen, but cleared right away by Romanov. And the Canadians will go for some changes.
Told you, Langer, it's what he does.
There
He always is ripping those.
I think he wanted the glove side there, though, because...
he likes to go back across the goalie.
Yeah, I said Josh Allen. Jake Allen had the blocker side pretty well covered up there. Kept in at the line by Michael Del Zotto as the second wave gets set up. Del Zotto waits, passes it to the left side there. Now down low. Waiting, and now on the left side, walking in. Shot is stopped by Jake Allen from a dead angle, and he'll cover up for a whistle. Got Adam Gaudette getting some power play time.
Yeah, yeah. He had a hot stretch in the middle of the season. He's cooled off as of late, but this second...
Was it the Canucks last year?
Yes. He was with, or no, I think he was with Chicago.
He was in the North Division. I remember he was in the North Division last year. I think it was Vancouver.
Oh, okay. He's been on Chicago and Vancouver. I'm not sure in which order, but man, I don't know if there's a team in the league with more drop off from power play 1 to power play 2 than the Sens.
Yeah, I got Colin White out there taking the face off with Michael Del Zotto. Josh Norris back out though.
Got the shooter out there.
There's Josh Norris. That's a Brady Tkachuk going to the nets. Shot stopped by Jake Allen. Rebound is taken back by Ottawa. Here's Josh Norris. Penalty expires. Tries to dangle. Shot stopped by Allen. And Jake Evans will shovel it out to center as we are back at 5-on-5. And the Canadians will get a full, fresh set of troops out there. So now pass to Evans. Turned over in front. But right there was Brendan Gallagher. Luckily for Montreal, you had your boy, the guy who's not on my roster here, is just not quite ready for that. But Gallagher was.
Mr. Parker Kelly, indeed.
Parker Kelly.
Yeah. Household
name, Parker Kelly.
Yeah.
And a nice move there by Savard, but a nice glove save by Anton Forsberg. Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about, though, Maydays, or we've been talking about with David Savard. Just it's clumsy when he does try to create offense, but he does.
I've seen him dangle guys out of their jock straps a couple times this year. I mean, I haven't seen much of him. But I've seen him make some nice offensive plays. Not exactly sure how his defense is. But Langer, I want to ask you about a guy on Montreal.
Well, before that, I will say with one
Okay.
more point on David Savard, I was at the opener against the Leafs. I remember he joined in on a rush to make it like a 4-on-2 or something. He was like the trailer, and he
Yeah.
Blair Walshed it like completely into the corner. So
Blair Walsh. Why'd you have to do that to me?
sorry, that's the first thing I thought of. Sorry,
Blair Walsh. No, it's okay. That's okay. I'm over that now. It's been a while. But what was I gonna ask? Oh, Rem Pitlick. What's
like
he all about? Why is Montreal assembling all these Pitlicks?
but
What?
why did Minnesota put him on waivers?
Yeah, he had a hat trick in like his first game this year, didn't he?
I don't know if it was a
Maybe
hat
like
trick. I think it was like a
4-goal game or something. Like he had a huge game right away with Minnesota. Well, I've seen him have a couple of huge games with Montreal too. What's he all about? What's his game like?
He's just like a Paul Byron 2.0, maybe not as fast, maybe not as, but also not as light. He is just a little more again, I forgot the word I used to describe it the other day. He's just a little bit more of a he's essentially a Paul Byron, and I say Paul Byron because the Canadians picked him up on waivers as well,
Yeah.
and he's just a fast, hardworking, smart two-way player. And yes, he did have a hat trick at Seattle back in November as a member of the Wild,
Yeah.
and they thought that maybe he needed 4 goals to not get put on waivers instead of a hat trick in that game. I don't know, but yeah, he's been impressive with Montreal. This to say to answer your question, you know.
No, I think that's a great waiver pickup, and I just think the thing in Montreal is they have such a good deep forward group that maybe they did it as a favor for him. Maybe they said, "Hey, we'll put you on waivers and we'll give you a chance to play."
I wouldn't say the Canadians they don't have a very deep forward group as much as they used to. I think it's more that they have.
I was talking about the Wild there, but
the Wild, yeah,
that's maybe why he got put on waivers. But I think he fits great in Montreal. I think he could be a great kind of maybe.
Oh, the Sens, they got a goal there from Tim Stützle off of a turnover. Austin Watson, the 16 and 18 look the same on my computer, but the Sens strike right back, tie it up off of the Corey Schoeneman turnover.
Tough turnover there.
Corey Schoeneman, man, look, he's been like he has shown a lot of raw, just good skating, willing puck handler, but he's also had some boo-boos like that in the defensive zone, just either blowing tires at the wrong time and just. But that's not. I wouldn't call that a softie. That's just a case of Jake Allen not being ready for the turnover to happen. And as a goaltender, that's why you have to always be ready no matter what, because he's thinking that Corey Schoeneman's just going to flip that ahead to Cole Caulfield and they'll break out. So he's almost relaxing mentally. But then he's like, oh, crap, that's Austin Watson there, not Cole Caulfield, and I have to actually be ready. And Austin Watson did the right thing to just clap it right by him and tied it right up.
We got a game.
We got a game. And there's Jordan Harris, who's a guy that the Canadians should also hope to see a lot of good things from. I honestly don't have an answer as to why they didn't sign him last year. Maybe because he wanted to get that extra year in college.
Yeah, did he just join out of college when
he just joined out of college, made his debut on Saturday against the Lightning, and he was good. Like he played only like 15 minutes, but he looked like he belonged. I'll just say that. He looked like he belonged as a good skating, puck-moving defenseman.
Nice. No, that's good. I love this time of year when the college kids can come
like
get
Shane
a couple
Pinto
games
last year.
I know. Love Shane. I was so upset when he got hurt this year.
And Joel Edmondson, I think, thought he could have saucer passed it over that stick that was lying there. He had a good second to realize that, hey, there's a stick right there. Maybe I shouldn't try to pass it through the stick, but he did. And that's why the Sens are on a good offensive rush over here. As, they cycle out of the corner. Shot from a dead angle by Stützle is off the side of the net. And Stützle takes a cross check there from Armia, and there he goes with his diving. All due respect, but not really. Artyom Zub forces it the other way, but it gets deflected into the Canadian zone, so no icing. Edmondson there battling behind the net with Stützle, who dives again from Dvorak, although that was more of a legit cross-check, but also kind of a dive. Because I think with a player like that, with a player who dives, even if it's a legit cross-check, like that at least by Dvorak there was a legit cross-check, but if you're a diver and you earn a reputation as a diver, if you gain a reputation as a diver, you're not going to get those calls.
Yeah, yeah, I can't. It's like, I can't really argue with you. He does go down. I just don't think he's as strong as he's going to be. Like I think in a couple of years he won't be. It won't happen as much for him. Good chance there by who's
Yeah,
that?
Devore. It
Paling.
was Paling. Yeah, Paling
Yeah,
put one right on net, but Forsberg read that all the way, made a nice save.
yeah. I just think that the thing with Tim is he's still kind of getting stronger. He's getting up to, he's not quite at his grown man strength yet.
And that's
But you
fine,
might
but
embellish a bit, the soccer culture over there in Germany.
yeah,
That you kind of fall down to get the call. And I mean, the third game of the year this season for the Sens against the Rangers, he got called for embellishing, and they were up 2-0 in that game, and New York scored. I think it was Chris Kreider on a power play, and they ended
good.
up losing that game in overtime. So I will say this year he's looked stronger on his feet. It could be a combination of it about the soccer culture and the upbringing with the soccer culture and him being so young. Like he's only 20. So
Like,
yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
that Canada versus Costa Rica game a couple weeks ago
yeah,
was unwatchable.
yeah,
That was a farce. I know
yeah.
all
I mean,
soccer games are like that, but
yeah, I love soccer. It's just part of the game almost. Like it's kind of just part of the game. You kind of just have to accept it. The way I put it is like the less upset you get about it, the less upset you'll get about it. Like if you just kind of take it for what it is, he fell to get the call, then you won't get upset. But anyways, back to hockey, Langer.
yeah, back to hockey. Well, I was gonna add to that in a second, but here the Canadians are establishing a nice possession here in the Sens zone. There's Jordan Harris walking the line. Jordan Harris flips it to Dvorak, or to Paling rather, back to Jordan Harris, across to David Savard. Savard walks the line, still holding on to it, flips it down low to Ilonen, back to Savard. Savard backhander to Paling. Paling out front, but good positioning by Adam Gaudette to force that interception and get it out at least the Canadian zone.
Looked like a power play for a second there.
The Sens just gave all the time and space to David Savard and Jordan Harris at the point. And now Sens come back the other way. Josh Norris all alone, but he gets denied by Jake Allen. Nice save by Jake Allen. And the rebound is blocked by Romanov from the point. And Romanov will seize possession and flip it back out. And here come the Canadians the other way with Nick Suzuki. Suzuki across to Caulfield. Caulfield couldn't quite handle that pass. And back the other way now, Brady Tkachuk. A little end-to-end action going on here. Brady Tkachuk leaves it. And a shot there. Stopped by Allen with the glove. Can't hold on to it there. And Romanov will flip it to the neutral zone. And finally, Travis Hamonic will flip it into the Canadian zone. We'll have things settled down a little bit here.
Great sequence there. Wow.
Gotta love that end-to-end action, especially in regulation, as we got 30 seconds to go here in period one, still tied at 1. And the shots are 11-11. So we got
1-1-1-1-1-1.
Yeah. And then they'll be soon in 10 seconds, they'll be 11.1 seconds. And Brendan Gallagher, number 11, has the puck also, or he thought he had the puck. Schooneman's shot gets blocked down in traffic as Hoffman can't quite hold the zone. He missed the 11.1 second. So make a wish, or you lost your chance to make a wish.
The Alfie second.
The Alfie, exactly. And that will pretty much do it for the first period. That's the score, 1-1 after 1. And there's Brendan Gallagher, number 11, who scored the goal for the Montreal Canadiens. And Canadians were all over the Sens early on, but the Sens, they're doing a good job for checking, because that's what forced the turnover by Corey Schooneman, as we see right here.
Yeah, they took advantage of
by Austin Watson.
Yeah, they took advantage of a turnover there, took their chance. I think both teams have had some really good chances. Both goalies looking decent. I'd say Jake Allen's maybe been the best player on the ice so far. It's been a good game. Some good action.
Made a really nice save on Austin Watson on that last, or Josh Norris on that last chance there.
I'm surprised Norris didn't shoot there. He tried a little deke. He's such a shooter, a pure shooter. I thought he might just try and rip it, but great job by Allen there, staying with him. Good period. Got a good game.
Yeah, I think sometimes when shooters are in tight on goaltenders, I think they think that they have to, because goaltenders are so good at taking away space, they think that they have to try to get the goalie to move outside of his net laterally and create that space that way. So I think that is.
Let me look at this Harris guy,
Jordan Harris. Yeah, he's a pretty good college player, and
Was he drafted by them?
Yeah, he was drafted a couple of years ago.
Okay. Northeastern. Yeah, 20 points in 39 games, a defenseman. Yeah. Not a bad prospect, third rounder. Yeah, good giving him getting a chance.
What I will say, though, I'm a little bit disappointed that he hasn't had a lot of power play time thus far.
Yeah. Who is the other guy that you mentioned was getting power play time? His name started with an E.
Oh, yeah, it was Elonen. Jesse Elonen, which was, I think it was just on the second wave, though.
Yeah.
So not really considerable power play time, but they still put him out there, interestingly enough.
Jesse Elonen.
Jesse Elonen.
Crazy how much the Habs roster's changed since last year.
Well, it's usually what happens when you have when you go from Stanley Cup finalist to last place.
Yeah.
Chances are you don't have that same roster that took you to the Cup final. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And when the whole philosophy of the organization changed, kind of what they're trying to do has completely changed now. Trying to build it back up.
They had to because it was very outdated, to say the least. It was very outdated in the sense that they were trying to make, they're trying to the stay-at-home defensive defenseman, the Marc Bergevin type of defenseman, that it's just, you can't have all six of your D-men like that. I mean, Jeff Petrie is a guy that isn't quite like that, which is good. And that's why he's been a very underrated player on the Canadiens the last couple of years, especially when healthy.
Yeah.
And that's why when they've had success without Shea Weber, it's because of how well Jeff Petrie has played. And he's not even playing right now. He's actually going to miss pretty much the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's tough. No,
Canadiens are still competitive. They're still competitive.
Well, the worst thing you can do with a group that's aging is hold on too long. So I think Montreal did the right thing in establishing firmly, we're going to rebuild, we're going to build it back up, and then making the moves to do so. They had a good trade deadline, so could be.
But they were also forced to not hold on because all their aging players got injured or signed elsewhere in free agency. So they kind of had to figure out what was next after that. But here's something I've been doing, Mayday, in these intermissions. I go to tankathon.com and I play NHL draft lottery. But since you're with me, I want to ask you, should there be a lottery in, well, not just hockey, but basketball, maybe even football? Baseball is its own kind of draft situation. But do you think there should be a draft lottery? And if yes, should the NHL keep doing what they're doing, or should they favor the lower ranked teams for the number one overall pick?
Yeah, so I think you want something there to deter teams from tanking, right? So I kind of like it how the team that comes in last isn't guaranteed to get the first overall pick. But I mean, if your team is like the Rangers getting the first overall pick a couple of these last times they've done it, like that's frustrating too. As a fan of the Sens throughout those times when I thought for sure the Sens had a great shot at getting Lafreniere. Good, like it worked out fine, but I think you have to incentivize teams to not tank, but also understand that teams are going to be bad. And, the teams are going to go through cycles. So I don't think the lottery is necessarily a bad thing. I think maybe you could weight it a bit differently. Give teams that are in the 10th, 11th range, like basically an impossible chance of moving into the top three and stuff like that. Maybe weight it a bit differently. But I think you don't want teams to tank, but you have to understand that teams are going to be bad on any given year.
And that's exactly what I was thinking is, let's say if you have 14 teams that are not, or actually 16, what am I saying? 16, used to be 14.
Yeah.
So 16 teams don't make the playoffs. So let's say teams 10 through 16 have a 0% chance of winning the lottery. I would even say like if you're not in the bottom 5 of that group, you should have 0 chance, or even bottom 4, let's say, because nice even number 4. Is divisible by 16, or 16 is divisible by 4. If you're not in the bottom 4, you have a 0% chance of getting a lottery pick. So only the bottom 4 teams can win the lottery. Obviously, the 32nd ranked team getting the best odds. But then if you're in the 5 to 8 spots, now it's just a matter of you can only go as high as 5 and not lower than 8. And
Yeah.
then if you're in the 9 to 11 spots, 9 to 12 spots, 9 to 12 spots, then you can't go any higher than 9 or any lower than 12. And same thing if you're in the 13 to 16 spots. So I think that's the way it should be, is either, whether it's by 4 or maybe by 8. But I think even 8, like if you're the 8th worst team in the NHL, you should have 0 shot at getting the first overall pick.
Yeah.
So, but that could also incentivize teams to tank a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, but did the NHL do a thing, or am I mistaken here that they made it so you can't have back-to-back first overall picks, or did they do something where they have a restriction, like you can't have it 3 times in a certain amount of? I think they restricted it somehow with the first overall pick.
Looking that up right now. Restriction.
I want to say they made it so you can't have the first overall pick like the Oilers did.
So 2021, the biggest change to the NHL draft lottery is the lottery will determine only the first 2 picks. This is on last year, March 23rd. A team does not sign a first round. No. Which it's a terrible must prevent. Yeah. Okay. So after back-to-back seasons, a team that has 3 other first overall picks, the NHL. Okay, no, it's a Hockey News opinion article. I don't know if there's a restriction.
Mistaken or something.
But you're definitely right in the sense that there have been calls to restrict teams to not have back-to-back number 1 overall picks in back-to-back seasons.
I would say you can't have more than like 2 in 3 years or something like that. Like if you have 2 in a 3-year span, like you can't have another one for another 3 years or something.
If you're the worst, if you're like a Buffalo or a, I don't know,
Edmonton back in the day.
Maybe, Edmonton back in the day. Perfect. Yeah. If you're like that bad, then like if you're last place back-to-back years, you can get the first overall pick in back-to-back seasons. But if you are, but you cannot win the lottery as a non-last place team in back-to-back seasons, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So if you're Edmonton, you finish 24th and 28th. If you win it as the 24th ranked team, then you should not be allowed to win it next year, even as the 28th ranked team.
Yeah. I think that's a good compromise. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
What if you're what if you win it as a 24th ranked team and then you're in last place the following year? Should you be able to win the lottery in back-to-back seasons?
Unless you tank. If you're actually losing games legit, but if you're making slimy moves and sending guys down or, making trades for no reason or something like that, then no. But it also analyze it case by case.
I don't know though, because then it becomes very subjective, and then you could have a team that got screwed out of a number 1 overall pick like the Sens and be like, well, hey, how come we didn't try to tank? So why don't we get the first overall pick, or why don't we get more of a fair shot at the first overall pick? So I feel like it has to be objective. Like you can't have any situations where there could be a gray area and teams, and it cannot be a case by case basis. It has to be something like fair, that's established and agreed upon unanimously for the lottery rules, in my opinion. It just has to not allow teams outside the top 5 should have 0% chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fair.
So,
are you gonna do the lottery thing, or?
Yeah, sure. We could play some lottery right now. Why not?
We'll see who's gonna get it, the Sens or the Habs.
The Senators just drafted Shane Wright first overall.
No,
the Canadians just got Logan Cooley at 4th overall, so I'll take that. I'm okay with that.
They had the Sens at the number 1 pick.
They moved 5. That would be a move of 5 spots if the season were to end today, by the way. 5 spots.
I think they'll finish lower than that, but we'll see.
Your guy, the slap, not the slapper, but the slapper, I guess you call it. Yuri Slavkovsky is he went to the Devils at 2. Simon Nemec went to the Coyotes at 3, and Logan Cooley went to the Canadiens at 4. So I'll take that.
I think everyone's happy there.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair situation. Although, yeah, if the Sens have the first overall pick, I think it would be pretty tough to pass on Shane Wright if you're in that position.
They might though. They've made some crazy picks before, recently too. Like last year, they took Tyler Boucher with their first overall pick. Who I don't even think.
What was their first overall? It's not like they passed up on Owen Power.
10th overall for
yeah.
I don't think people even had him in the first couple rounds. So
I think I remember there was a player, Dylan McElrath or something, that was drafted by the Rangers way back in 2012. This was like when I was actually like following the NHL draft, almost like the NFL draft in a sense. Or also because, the Canadiens, I think, were drafting in like the 18 or 20, like they always did. And they were talking about by the way, also Marty St. Louis' future is going to be decided at the end of the season, but I think it's been pretty much already decided. I'd like to think. But yeah, in that draft, like I was thinking about if the Canadiens are, let's say, even now, like if the Canadiens are like 18th overall in the draft, I would look at like who are the 20 best players in the draft, because one of them will end up being a Montreal Canadian. And when the Rangers, I think it was the Rangers that chose Dylan McElrath at like 13 overall. And even Pierre Maguire and Bob McKenzie were stumped. They're like,
who is this guy?
Not who is this guy, but they're like, I had him as a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Like this is an enforcer in the OHL. Yeah. Why did they just take him in the top 15? You know?
Yeah. There was a guy,
a Hall of Famer?
No.
No? You don't have Ryan Getzlaf as a Hall of Famer?
No. I don't.
No?
I mean, he had a great career, a lengthy career. He had obviously the international accolades, but he had one 30-goal season.
But he had a couple of 80 and 90-point seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I would have no issue with it. I think he's one of those guys that is a coin flip. I think he's right on the line. But if Alexander McGillney isn't in the Hall of Fame, I have a tough time putting Getzlaf in the Hall of Fame.
You can't say Hall of Fame. You can't decide players' Hall of Fame inductions on a coin flip.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I think it could go either way easily. I think it could go. You could make an argument, a definite argument either way.
So his most productive season was 91 points in 2008-09. Besides that, he has had 87 points. He's had a 76-point year. He's had an 82-point season. He has a Stanley Cup, obviously. He has 73 points in 74 games in as recently as 2016-2017.
He's a great player.
He was a great all-around player. He has was it him or Corey Perry that scored in 2010 Vancouver in the gold medal game?
Perry.
It was Perry, eh? But I think Getzlaf set him up, though, no?
Yeah, probably. They played together.
Yeah.
That whole tournament,
And in Anaheim, of course.
Yeah.
So McGillney, though, had 107-point season, or actually 200-point seasons.
Yeah.
With Buffalo and Vancouver, but then again, that was before goaltenders actually started learning how to play goaltender. I would say McGillney actually does have a pretty strong case to.
He should be in. He should have been in for years now, and especially the fact that he was like one of the first guys to risk his life really to defect to North America to play. Like he was kind of a groundbreaker too, in that sense. So I'm shocked he's not in. But I have no issue with Getzlaf getting in. I would love to see it, but I just think it's really hard to get into the NHL Hall of Fame. It's easier to get into other sports Hall of Fame, I feel like, than the NHL.
Maybe not easier, but it's like if you meet a certain criteria, you're in.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to meet those criteria, but if you do, like in the NFL, if you have 2 Super Bowls, you're in.
Baseball, too. If you got like 3,000 hits, I think it is. Yeah. 2,000 hits, maybe. Yeah.
I think baseball is also a sport where you have to appreciate longevity because you're playing 162 games over a course of, like, let's say a Chipper Jones who played into his 40s. Like, that's 162 games times like 20 years, right? So people who say, "Oh, baseball players have it easy," whatever, it's like why do they get paid so much? Well, hello, because they literally don't have it. Like their summer is on a baseball field, which is awesome because if you love baseball and you're a professional baseball player because you love baseball, that's awesome. But if you're considering the fact that if you hate your 9 to 5 job, or if you think your 9 to 5 job is tough, well, think about your 9 to 5 job, but literally 6 days a week over an entire summer. And then the off season, you're training and working your butt off for the winter, basically.
No, it's a grueling season. It's kind of a laid back sport though, but yeah, it's not as physically demanding in terms of like body contact, but it's a grueling season. I would be interested to see how it feels to go through one
But as Yogi Berra once said, baseball is 90% physical or 90% mental. The other half is physical.
of
Is
those.
that the quote?
Yogi
Because
Berra, what
my
a name.
point with that is that if you're in left field, yeah, you might be standing around, just not doing much for most of the game on defense. But
Yeah,
as soon as that fly ball gets hit to you, you cannot pooch it. You have to
no,
make that play.
there's a lot of
And
pressure. Like yeah, especially at bat or pitching too. Like there's a ton of pressure each time you go up to hit or when you're throwing every pitch in the
like, do you
late
want to be
innings.
that guy that ruins a no-hitter or a perfect game because of just you couldn't catch a line drive or you couldn't make a simple catch a routine fly ball? You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, but I guess when you play the sport your whole life, you kind of prepare yourself for those moments. But Langer, buddy, I'm gonna go to the bathroom quickly before the game gets going
Yeah, sure
again.
thing.
That's all good. I'll go to the bathroom, fill up my water, and we'll be back for the second.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll be back in a couple minutes
Yeah,
here.
we'll be going off. We'll be going with the second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All
Just
right,
keeping the
sounds good.
cast going.
Yep.
Oh, we're also over 4,000 likes here on ColorCast. So thank you to our wonderful audience. And we're barely even through the first period. So once again, thank you to our lovely audience, both on ColorCast and on YouTube for this Habs versus Sens game. Once again, we are still tied at 1-1 through one period. And just looking at, I was looking at the stats, the defenseman stats on the Canadiens' last game, and just noticed that Joel Edmondson wasn't getting used as much as David Savard and Romanov, and I think it was Corey Schueneman. No, it wasn't Corey Schueneman. It was Barron and Romanov and David Savard that were getting the most ice time. Tonight, though, it is so far Romanov is at 8 minutes. Savard is at 5 minutes only. Schueneman is, where's Schueneman? He's 5 minutes also. And Jordan Harris is also at 5 minutes. So again, decent balance in terms of the Canadiens with how they're using their defensemen. Oh yeah, here I'll get May out of here for a sec until he comes back. So again, decent balance in terms of how the Habs are using their defensemen, but I'm interested to see when will be the time that Jordan Harris gets a little bit more time, ice time, and a little bit more power play time, because we haven't seen Jordan Harris on the power play yet, which is honestly surprising. And we are actually back here in the second period between the Habs and the Sens. So Armia flips it out to center, but it gets turned back away here. And we do have an offside at the Canadiens line, as Brady Tkachuk was a little bit advanced there, or he had a fellow teammate crossing the blue line before him. So we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. We also welcome in number one dad to the cast. Our co-host Mayday will be back shortly. So, again, Romanov played over 8 minutes. I believe he led the Canadiens in ice time in that period in terms of defensemen and also possibly all skaters. Sens win the face-off, cleared into the Habs zone right away. There's David Savard behind the net, goes D to Harris and up to Caulfield. Caulfield stopped there by a couple of Sens. Turnover is forced. Here's Formanton. Backhand pass gets deflected by Savard. Caulfield will rim it back around to Rem Pitlick. Pitlick back around all the way to the blue line. No one home to keep that in for the Sens, as Nikita Zaitsev was retreating already. And the Canadiens will try to break out once again with Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris to David Savard and out. Caulfield deflects it into the Sens zone. Forsberg out to play it. Forsberg rims it off the glass. Savard tries to keep it in, but he can't. Gets deflected all the way into the Canadian zone. Jordan Harris back there to play it behind Jake Allen's net. And he'll just wait for some changes to be made. Jordan Harris will finally get things going the other way to Jake Evans and into the Sens zone. Artem Zub backhands it across to nobody except Justin Barron, but his shot deflects off of Josh Anderson and way back out to Jake Allen, who has to make a quick pass all the way ahead, but too far for anyone. That goes the distance for an icing. We'll have a face-off in the Canadian zone. I think I hear our co-host Mayday coming right back into the fold there. We got you. Awesome.
We're back.
I also realized I figured out a perfect screen layout so that I can see both the names and the nice big window of the game. So yeah, so I won't be pooching players' names as much.
It's all good.
That's part of it. Like if we're not watching the game on a full-sized monitor, then it's a little tough to see who is who. But anyway, Josh Anderson made a really nice diving block there, and now here's Erik Brannstrom trying to get away from Jake Evans. He gets it out along the half wall, and finally the Sens are able to break out. Here comes Colin White to the right side. Brannstrom pass in front, does not find anyone. Your boy Parker Kelly just missed it. And now here's Mike Hoffman the other way over the Sens line, but turns it over. Pass is a little too far there for Connor Brown. And taking it now is Travis Hamonic going D to D to Michael Delzato and out, but too far there for Adam Gaudette. David Savard hits Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris will feed it to Jesse Ilonen, but he gets stopped and forced back to Jordan Harris. David Savard looking, quick pass, just gets its way to Brendan Gallagher, but because Gallagher was in the Sens zone and the puck bounced out, it is offside and possibly a whistle at the or a face-off at the Canadiens' blue line. Also, there we're seeing Chris. We're seeing the empty seat left there in honor of Eugene Melnyk, Sens owner Eugene Melnyk. Obviously, all Sens ownership and management aside, it's obviously a very sad passing, and just he'll be missed in the hockey community and the Ottawa community for sure.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, it's incredibly sad. You think about his family, his daughters. It's incredibly sad. He did a lot for hockey in Ottawa. I know a lot of the fans weren't maybe too happy with him at some points as an owner, but you kind of have to separate the person from the owner and from everything that you've heard. He's an incredible person, so you really feel for the family, and you hope they're okay, and worry about the hockey stuff later. Worry more about the family first.
Absolutely. So we'll have Norris getting tossed out of the faceoff. Brady Tkachuk in to take the faceoff against Dvorak. Dvorak kind of won it, but he flips it right ahead to the Sens instead, and to Nick Holden. And now the Sens do manage to gain the Canadian zone. A cycle there by Matthew Joseph gets stopped by Romanov, but Joseph will intercept Romanov's clearing attempt. Now Joseph behind the net tries passing it back out in front, but intercepted by Armia. And Armia will start the other way and just clear it behind Forsberg's net. Forsberg out to play it to Nick Holden. Up ahead to Josh Norris, who banks it off the glass way ahead to Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk over the Habs line. Tkachuk delays, waiting for some help. Here's Josh Norris. Back to Tkachuk, but he fanned on the one-timer. In to join the play is Erik Brannstrom behind Allen's net to Josh Norris. Josh Norris back to Brannstrom. Brannstrom will rim it back to Matthew Joseph. Good cycling here by the Sens on this shift, but they go too far, and it ends up all the way back in the Senators' zone. But Joseph on it right away to pass it ahead to Stützle. And now here comes Alex Formenton over the Canadiens' line. Can't quite get behind David Savard, so Savard goes D to D. Turnover, though. Quick shot by Batherson, stopped by Allen. Rebound off of Allen, and no Send there is able to take the rebound. Now here comes Caulfield with speed, perhaps a mini breakaway. Caulfield shoots off the side of the net, just wide. Nice back check there by Erik Brannstrom to break up that Caulfield chance. And now here comes Suzuki the other way. Suzuki gets stopped up by Artem Zub. And Michael Delzato will settle things down before breaking out to Austin Watson. Watson gets hit in the corner by Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris will pass it all the way out to Josh Anderson. Stopped there by Travis Hamonic, supported by Tim Stützle. Now, Hamonic will skate behind Forsberg's nets and start things up the other way for the Sens momentarily. Delzato goes across to Stützle. Stützle loses it. Now here comes Dvorak. Dvorak in alone, backhand. That's Hoffman, actually. Hoffman just missed the net and almost scored against his former team. You would have liked that there, eh, Mayday?
Yeah, I would have loved it. Would have loved it.
Here comes Parker Kelly, who gets taken down in the corner. No call. Now at the point, quick shot by Zaitsev is blocked down in front. Parker Kelly back on it to Zaitsev, but Zaitsev can't handle that pass. Comes back out to center. Sens now outshooting the Canadians 13-12 and getting some good possession in the second period.
Yeah, back and forth, end-to-end stuff. It's kind of been like that all game. It's entertaining for sure.
And now Colin White falling down over the Canadians' line. Just flips it in on Jake Allen, who flips it ahead to Elonen. Elonen, nice hit there by Austin Watson on Ryan Poehling, who fell down, but he gets right back up, feeds Barron to Elonen. He'll just flip it into the opposite corner. Here's Gallagher in the corner, but he gets poke checked, and Austin Watson now back the other way for Ottawa, flipping it in behind Jake Allen. Right there is Romanov, who can't quite find it. Adam Gaudette does, but now Romanov jumps right back in and takes it, and he'll take it out himself all the way through center, and he'll dump it in behind Anton Forsberg. Right there is Artem Zub to play it, but kept in by Paul Byron. Zub cuts it off behind the net, and the Sens will flip it all the way down into the Canadian zone for perhaps an icing. Nope, because it was deflected. Here's Romanov now to turn things back the other way for Montreal. Hands it off to Dvorak. Dvorak over the Ottawa line. Dvorak drops it off for Armia, who can't quite find it. Now he does. And the puck deflects off of Josh Norris's stick into the crowd, so we'll have a whistle in the Ottawa zone. That was a great back check there by Zub on Caulfield, eh?
Yeah, no, Zub's a good defensive player. He's a pretty steady defenseman. I've been pleasantly surprised with him since he came over from Russia. I think he's got some untapped offensive potential as well. He's a solid NHL defenseman. I think if he was on like the Leafs or on a team like the Rangers or one of the big market teams, he'd be a fan favorite there for sure. He'd get a lot more attention.
Also was a absolute Habs killer last year for whatever random reason. He had, I'm just trying to find it here. He had 7 points against the Canadians last year as a defenseman.
Nice Zoob is what the people say.
Yeah, they better. Well, they couldn't say that last year in the empty Canadian Tire Center, but they could definitely say it this year. But
every 10 time games, he touches the puck.
7 points as a defenseman against the Habs last year is quite impressive.
No, he's a good player. He's going to be I think he's kind of part of the core as well. And if they can find a way to, get the rest of the D core looking good and they can play him with Shabbat, that pairing is really good.
And they just extended him a couple of years ago, right? And I think he at like 2.5, I have right here, it's a cap hit of $2.5 million. So if he's a guy that can step into that maybe number 2 or number 3 defenseman role, well, then that's a bargain and a half for the Sens.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need. I don't know why he seemed to be a Sens fan when he was younger or something. He's got some sort of affinity for the Sens. So we got lucky with him.
From Russia, cheering for the Senators? That's kind of random.
I don't know why.
Pretty cool.
We'll see what it chosen them. But yeah.
We got some nice B-roll of Carey Price going on right here, just skating around, shooting around.
Yeah,
and
exciting times.
Apparently he did not concede the net to Samuel Montembeault at practice today. That's why I kind of tried to give the report on him possibly returning, but that was not meant to be, at least for today.
Why would Carey Price ever concede the net to Sam Montembeault, for being honest?
Exactly. As here's Josh Norris gets a stick check there by Romanov. And Romanov with the nice pass to start things up the other way. Here's Suzuki. flipping into the corner. We will have a penalty coming up here. I think Ottawa will be penalized here, so Montreal might be getting a power play out of this.
I think it might be the other way around.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it's Ottawa.
I think it's Caulfield.
Yeah, Caulfield's getting an interference penalty, knocked someone in the neutral zone, it looked like. Let's see. He just... Oh, come on. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I think he knew what he was doing, but he didn't like deliberately interfere. Maybe.
Yeah, he kind of just got caught in the way almost.
So, by the way, quick shot there. Then they score. Tim Stützle on the doorstep gives the Ottawa Senators a 2-1 lead right off the faceoff. And Caulfield gets Canadians will have to suck it up after Caulfield's just his penalty proves to be costly. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. No, that's a bit of a soft call, tough call, and then immediate response there, immediate goal. Good to see Tim Stützle at the right place at the right time, and yeah, this game's looking like it's about to open up here.
I think Tim Stützle is also low-key a Canadians killer as well.
Yeah, he's had a couple. I remember last year he had a couple. I remember he had a shootout goal and he had a nice shot on Price.
Yeah, this has been again one of those players that has really given the Canadians a lot of trouble. Sens win the ensuing face-off. And
I just saw something on my phone that you'll like.
Yes. And I might actually be missing it because I lost my stream here a sec. But right now, here we got at the point that is a shot on net and they score. Is that Caulfield out of the box right away? Or no, that was Justin Barron. Justin Barron. That was I'm surprised that went in.
Yeah, I know. A bit of a softie from Forsberg, but a nice shot.
Very nice shot at that.
Yeah.
Just having some issues loading this up. Okay, yeah, there we go. Is that his first NHL goal?
I think it is because I saw them. I saw them.
They got the puck for him. Yeah,
they kept the puck, so it must be. Look at that, witnessing history on ColorCast.
Yes, sir. Let's see this. So he just walked the line, and put it on net. What did Forsberg maybe not see that?
Yeah. Bit of a tough.
Oh, it was also a great screen in front there by that shot from the bench with Jake Evans just laying out a perfect screen in front of Anton Forsberg was just. That's why I didn't see it, and that's how Justin Barron has his first NHL goal with the Montreal, not only in the Montreal Canadiens, of course, but overall. Just honestly, that's why he just put the puck to the net.
Yeah. Look at that. Game opened right up.
So the Sens try to go back the other way, and it gets kept in at the line. Shot gets knocked down in front. Here is now Tim Stützle. Now to Brandstrom. Brandstrom gets it out to center and dumped in behind Jake Allen's net. Allen could not quite handle it. Jordan Harris could not pick it up. So here is now Tim Stützle with some nice moves. Are you kidding me? He didn't even get slashed. He pretended they got slashed. Seriously? Shot by Zaitsev, gets blocked by Paling. And now here is Adam Gaudette against 4 Canadians, loses it, and the Canadians are able to clear it at least through center. Forsberg out to play. And now here is Michael Del Zotto. Del Zotto waits and passes it ahead. Too long there for Adam Gaudette. Played behind the net by Schoenemann to Barron and to Caulfield and out. Deflected into the Ottawa zone, right onto Forsberg. Forsberg swipes it to Michael Del Zotto. Across is almost a little too long there. The Sens do manage to get out to at least center. Gaudette has to take it back into the Ottawa zone, though. Quick up to who is that again? That's a Holden, or no? Camera's covering the roster. But anyway, Suzuki now will get it ahead and just out of the reach of his winger, Rem Pitlick. No icing, though. Nice forecheck there by Caulfield, but a little too late. And back the other way comes Ottawa with Matthew Joseph Matthews Joseph trying to forecheck on Romanov. Romanov holds his ground, though. Pitlick is right there with him in the corner to support him, but the Sens hold the line. Shot is blocked in front, blocked in traffic. Shot by Brady Tkachuk. Joseph keeps it. Joseph goes across to Nick Holden, but Paul Byron recovers it across to Romanov and out, deflected in behind Anton Forsberg. He'll just push it across to Nick Holden. Dvorak and Byron forechecking. Byron wins the battle. Byron, quick shot, stopped by Forsberg. That shot from the point from Romanov. Another shot gets blocked out in front. Taken by Nikita Zaitsev, and he will clear the zone, at least to center. Brady Tkachuk was in good possession to handle that pass and go off for a change as Romanov will start things the other way for the Canadiens. But turned back now by the Sens. Here comes Gambrell. Is that or Connor Brown? Connor Brown, not Gambrell. But back comes Dvorak, chipping it in behind Forsberg's net. Evans on the forecheck. Kept in at the line by Jordan Harris. He'll just flip it in behind the net. Doesn't quite get there. Anderson back to the point to Savard. Quick shot stopped by Forsberg. And Evans gets tripped up. No penalty. Crowd definitely wanted one. Parker Kelly starts the breakout to Connor Brown. And now down the right wing. Quick shot stopped by Allen. Rebound given up. Colin White there behind the net. Colin White keeps it. Colin White looking for some options as he has to get away from 3 Canadians there. Puck to the point. Across from Delzado's shot there, blocked by Paling. And Paling, with a skate, tries to kick it ahead. Intercepted, though, by Formanton. Now here comes Formanton over the Montreal line, but turned back the other way by Josh Anderson, who will flip it across to Hoffman, and he'll just dump it in or try to dump it in. Still able to go for a change, though. Schuenemann will dump it in behind the Ottawa net. Gallagher there. Gallagher spins on his backhand. Gets it across all the way to Edmondson. Edmondson to the blue line. To Ylonen. To Romanov. Romanov shot. Doesn't quite make it to the net. Rebound doesn't either make it to the net. Taken by Stützle. Stützle to Delzato joining the rush, but turned back the other way. Now here comes Gallagher with Ylonen, perhaps a 2-on-2. Ylonen cannot quite find that in a bunch of skates and sticks. So Gaudette with Stützle back the other way. Stützle's shot doesn't make it to the net. A lot of end-to-end action here, Mayday. Finally,
you got to catch a breather.
I know, just even the goalie's coming out to play. Oh, a collision there between Pitlick and Caulfield. Both seem to be okay, though. And finally, here is Jordan Barron to settle things down a little bit before Caulfield and Suzuki start the rush the other way. Suzuki to Pitlick, across to Schuenemann. Schuenemann way to the corner to Suzuki. Suzuki to the point. Makes its way to Justin Barron. Barron flips it in along the half wall. Knocked down, though, by Zaitsev. And finally got cleared out by Ottawa, but taken back by Justin Barron. And
Justin Barron, who they got from Colorado recently? Yeah.
But here's a chance for Ottawa, but Joseph tried to do too much, and Caulfield jumps right on it the other way. Here's Caulfield in on goal, but he gets pushed away by Eric Brandstrom. Just could not gain inside position on Brandstrom, and the pass is too far for Brady Tkachuk now in the Montreal zone. Romanov behind the net. Romanov tries to find Edmondson, but he finds Armia instead. Armia, a long pass to Dvorak. Dvorak to Byron on net, stopped by Forsberg. Armia now backhands it to Dvorak. We're already under 6 minutes to go here in the second. And now Tkachuk over the Montreal line. Tkachuk, his pass gets cut off by Schuenemann, taken back by Delzato. Delzato, pass in front, and Tkachuk scores! What a goal by Brady Tkachuk. Tic-tac-toe from Delzato to Joseph to Tkachuk. Ottawa regains the lead 3-2.
What a play by Michael Delzato, jumping in on that play. That's a good heads-up play by a defenseman and a great pass by Joseph. I tell you what, he has looked unreal since the trade from Tampa. I think I saw something. He's got more points in the past 2 games than he did in the last 20 with Tampa. So he's fitting in nicely. Nice goal there.
was a big part of Tampa Bay's run to the Cup final last year for sure.
Yeah, I
And
always felt like he was a bit more deserving of an opportunity, but I guess that's probably the toughest team in the league to break in with. So good for him to get an opportunity. I'm sure he's going to be,
but
he's going to break out with Ottawa.
Yeah, he still played his role very effectively in the bottom six or the fourth line with Tampa, along with Ross Colton. Ross Colton obviously scored the Stanley Cup winning goal last year for Tampa. But here in Montreal, we have a 3-2 game with that goal by Brady Tkachuk, who again it was just a very nice play by Delzato and Joseph to set that one up for Tkachuk.
Yeah, the captain. I think it's been a while since he scored, so to get him back on the sheet.
He had did he have 20, 30 goals last year? 30?
I don't think he had 30. I think he had about 20. I think he had about 40 something points.
It was prorated to 30, I think, last year.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, he just does so much more than score.
Oh, Schooneman with the shot goes just wide.
So yeah, I mean, his points aren't going to be the most important thing in his career.
But yeah, I you know who I compare him to? I would say Dustin Brown.
Yeah, no, I like that.
That's who he reminds me of, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's a bit bigger than Brown, but yeah, he's the same style, hard nose, leadership.
Maybe even more skilled.
Yeah. I mean, Dustin Brown had a great year last year. I don't know how he's doing this year, but Dustin Brown can score, and so can Brady. Brady just kind of, sets the tone every night. And I think just that's so important, especially with a young team. Just, keep everyone's head on straight, know that he'll protect them, kind of drag them into the battle, wake guys up if they need it.
But now here's a 2-on-1 with Jesse Loden. Loden drags, shoots, stopped by Forsberg, rebound. Poehling can't quite get a clean shot off the rebound, but a nice save by Forsberg. We do have a penalty coming up for Ottawa, as it looked like Jordan Harris got a stick to the face.
Indeed. Montreal power play coming up, I think.
This is an exciting game for
I know
last place teams.
I know, for a bit of a toilet bowl. It's very exciting.
I find that, as you say, toilet bowls are more exciting in hockey than in football.
Yeah.
Way more exciting.
No, I don't think that one. I don't think that one was a penalty.
You say no? Wait, what?
I was just looking at the score app here, and it doesn't say Montreal's on the power play.
Might be delayed. No, because they definitely. I think it was. I definitely saw a ref's arm go up and call a penalty.
We'll see. Are you in a commercial break right now?
There. I am in a commercial break.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see when they come back.
But if Montreal ties this, I think Montreal's going to tie it here.
Oh, I think so too.
I'm channeling my inner Tony Romo, and I'm going to say that Montreal does tie it here.
I think they will too.
Because it's just that type of game, and look, they play teams hard. They're just having fun. Like the Habs, they're just having fun. They don't. I think that's also partly when you're in a place where you have nothing to play for, and you just can afford to just be loosey goosey and have fun. And that's what Marty St. Louis also wants from his guys, is obviously to play hard, but to have fun doing it. Yeah. So I just think that that's also a part of it, but I just really hope they could find a way to channel this positive energy into next year when they're actually in a position where they're playing important games for a playoff race and eventually a playoff series.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, there's always, every single game, no matter what, there's stuff you can pull from it.
So Montreal will go for their second power play, I want to say. Yeah, they had a power play in the first period. They could not do much with it. That was after the failed challenge by DJ Smith after the Brendan Gallagher goal. And maybe Justin Barron will get some power play time. We'll see. Tie is on the horizon. We got a comment there on ColorCast from user Ivanka. So the faceoff is handled by Montreal in the Ottawa zone. A pass by Dvorak doesn't quite make its way to Caulfield, makes its way to Formanton, who battles with Caulfield and Dvorak. But finally, it is Nick Holden who will clear it down the ice for Ottawa.
Langer, I think I might be a bit ahead of you.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know if you want to like refresh your game stream or something, but
I'll refresh it with the whistle
that you'll like.
So here's Dvorak across the point. Here's Gallagher now. Gallagher back to the point to Hoffman. Hoffman, Caulfield doesn't shoot. Now he does, and he scores, making its way through Anton Forsberg. Cole Caulfield scores again, and Montreal has tied it up. You heard it here first, and now you got it. 3-3.
User Ivanka knows something that we didn't. The tie is on the horizon, maybe.
No, I think she said that. I think she said that before the Caulfield goal.
Yeah, no, she did, but maybe she's got some sort of secret fortune-telling power.
Maybe.
What a call.
And I think I got some too because I called that as well. I was like, I think Montreal's going to tie it up on this power play. And I also think our audience is awesome because we're over 5,000 likes on this cast, mate.
Let's go. Let's go. We've been buzzing. Feeling good. Good game. Let's go. Caulfield again. Forsberg.
That's one that Forsberg definitely wants back.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough when they squeak through like that. You get a good piece of it.
Like that's what as a goaltender where it's you got to stop that.
Yeah. Yep.
And here comes Armia with a chance. Armia leaving it for Byron. Pass in front doesn't find its way to Armia. Now here's Jordan Harris. Montreal some extra juice after the goal. Armia wraparound shot doesn't go. And here's Byron in the corner. Byron, I have to refresh it at a commercial break after the period. Byron in front to Harris. His shot stopped by Anton Forsberg. Jordan Harris with a great opportunity to score his first NHL goal, but he gets denied by Forsberg.
Man, it was almost that would have been Harris's first NHL goal too.
How often do I'd have to go in the history books and think back to when was the last time two guys scored their first NHL goals in the same game?
Could have very well happened tonight.
That would have been cool.
I would not be surprised.
But that's why it's like, what? Okay, so now maybe they're gonna play Jordan Harris on the second unit.
Yeah, without Petrie.
But he hasn't had much power play time yet.
Oh, in the second power play unit.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with that.
I mean, hey, if I'm Montreal right now, I want to see guys in every situation possible. Just the season, you're not playing for playoffs. Just get a look at guys and just see what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. I might have to go back to the other thing because it's more stable. Just say that. But we're good now. I think I'm back out of the commercial break, so I should be a little more. Okay, perfect.
I see Josh Anderson buzzing, and then the Habs in the dressing room here.
I see. Wait, are you watching TSN?
Yeah.
I don't see that. I see Marty St. Louis right now.
Yeah, I just saw that. Now I see Gordon and Hughes up in the press box.
I see Pitlick taking the face off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we're basically at the same spot.
Okay, good. And here is Joel Edmondson. Joel Edmondson now throwing it on net. Forsberg, I think, wanted to play it initially, but now he decides to cover up and take a whistle because of the Montreal forecheck getting in his face and some little messages being exchanged after the whistle.
Indeed. There's not bad blood between these teams like there used to be, but it's still a rivalry, a little rivalry.
I kind of disagree because if you play a team 10 times in a season, you start to know guys like Suzuki's and the Armias, the Byrons that got to play the Zubs, the Stutzlas and the Kachucks. Like they get to know each other quite well, and I think that's how rivalries honestly form because they're just sick of playing each other. So.
Yeah, a bit of a quiet night tonight from Suzuki, eh? Same with for the Sens. Same for the Sens, like Batherson's have been pretty quiet. Norris has been somewhat quiet too. A couple of the stars haven't been shining too brightly so far.
Did Suzuki get an assist on that goal though?
He definitely could have. Let's see.
As Montreal wins the ensuing faceoff, Barron at the point. Barron throws it behind the net, makes its way back out in front, but no Canadian was in sight. So Colin White will lead the rush the other way. Colin White drops it off and back in front. A quick shot. And Parker Kelly had a wide open net on the doorstep, but he fanned on it. Taken back now by Connor Brown, but his pass for Artyom Zub does not connect, and Zub has to chase it all the way back into his own zone. And Evans,
Langer,
for check-in.
No assist, no points yet for Suzuki. No points for Batherson. Norris has just an assist, so a couple of the stars quiet so far.
Because even if you don't notice them, they can still find their way and up the score sheet for a low-key assist. And here's Matthew Joseph with a pass across to Parker Kelly. His shot doesn't go. It was just deflected wide. Now on the half wall, here is Evans battling with Joseph and Justin Barron. Justin Barron, backhander across and out to Pitlick, but he can't handle that. Taken by Zaitsev. Zaitsev being watched by Pitlick. Pitlick wins the battle in the Sens zone now. Pass in front. Here's a Suzuki. Suzuki to Edmondson. Edmondson shoots. Gets deflected wide to the corner. Taken back by Nick Holden, and he'll bank it out and ahead for Matthew Joseph, and he'll just throw it behind the goal line, taken by Pitlick behind Jake Allen's net. Minute and a half to go here in the second period. 3-3. Suzuki to Romanov. Romanov shot gets blocked down. Ooh, something glitched. Getting that same play again. So we'll say Suzuki to Romanov. Shot gets blocked.
Oh boy. Big old scrum now.
There by Stützle. I'll get there. Oh, yeah, there's a Suzuki going for the knee there on Stützle. I think that was legit. Diamond Hamonic did not like that, and we got the whole, as Pierre Houd likes to say, la mêlée éclate. It's funny because from watching hockey, and gotta hope, seriously though, I think that was like, you better hope, I hope Stützle is okay after that, because that was not.
Let's get a look at it. Oh yeah,
that did not look pretty for Suzuki, and he can possibly open up the checkbook on that one.
Yeah, I mean, let's get this look at it. Oh yeah, I mean, I think he was going for more of a check, and he just kind of. I think it happened pretty fast. I don't think it was intentional, but it's a penalty for sure. I don't know if it's anything more than that.
It's one that Suzuki. Again, whether by accident or on purpose, he has to take responsibility for that. And that's why he's going to get penalized for kneeing on the play.
Yeah, Stützle's okay, though, which is good. Yeah, just a 2-minute minor. I think that's fair. Considering Stützle's okay.
So the Sens will get another power play and look to regain the lead. They took the lead previously on the power play, just seconds after. Yeah, that's not a pretty look right there. It's almost like a hit from behind that happens quickly and is accidental, but you still have to take responsibility for it.
Yeah, so like I don't think there was any malicious intent, but it happened, and you'll serve the 2 minutes or less. And Stützle's okay, so we move on.
It's like when you don't stop properly at a stop sign by accident or on purpose. You got to take responsibility for it, right? If a cop is there and sees you, you get caught. So Sens will go back to the power play. Brady Tkachuk will take the face-off in front of Jake Evans. So that means Evans should win the face-off since Brady Tkachuk's in linger.
Little scramble draw.
Yeah, the face-off. No, we got a little fake there. Just here, it's like just drop the puck, linesman, and he does. And Tkachuk does win the draw. Back to the point is Brandstrom. Brandstrom to Stützle. Down low in the corner. Back to Stützle. To Brandstrom. Brandstrom to Stützle. Walks in. Shoots. Blocked by Edmondson. Rebound in front. Gets swatted at and just wide by Josh Norris. Makes its way to Evans, and Evans will clear it down the ice for the Canadiens.
See if the Sens can get set up here.
Yeah, just under 45 seconds to go in the period. So that if they don't score, they'll start the third on the power play. They'll get set up here. Here's Brandstrom. Brandstrom to the left, to the right wing, back to Brandstrom to Stützle. Stützle, 27 seconds left. Shot pass does not get deflected there by Batherson. Nice little play there by Stützle, though. Back to the point to Norris on the give and go. Here's Norris to Stützle. 13 seconds to go. Batherson. I think they're booing Stützle. The Brandstrom, quick one-time shot stopped by Allen. Popped back out to Romanov, cleared but not out. Kept in by Brandstrom. 3 seconds to go. Stützle, shot pass, gets deflected. Allen the save, and that will do it for the period as the Canadians tie it up on the last power play they had with Caulfield, and that is all for the second. It is tied at 2 after 40 minutes.
Good game. It's a good game. Should be a great third.
I could totally back the Bell Center crowd booing Stützle. Not for taking the knee there, but for just being a little rat diver that he is. Sorry, not sorry.
That's okay.
But like even in that Canada soccer game, like our Canadians don't dive. Like Dion Buchanan, Kyle Larin, like they don't dive. They fall, they get tripped and they fall, but they get right back up and they play.
Yeah, I mean the thing about that Costa Rica dive is he knew that the Canadian guy K was on a yellow card, right? So he knows if he does that.
A joke.
I know. So he knows if he. But it's smart. Like he knows if he does that, Canada's going to be down 10 men for the better part of that game. So it's with gamesmanship, it's not great, but it happens.
K nudged him.
I know.
He walked into him.
I know, but he just knew that if he went down, that he'd get sent off. So he did it, and it worked.
But like in hockey, that's the equivalent of an accidental trip, where it's like a 2-minute penalty, but an ejection. Like I know it's the yellow card into a red card, but it's I don't know, silly.
It's just it's a different world. The soccer and the hockey crowd, it's completely different.
Imagine if in hockey someone takes a major penalty, gets ejected, and you have to play the rest of the game shorthanded, not just 5 minutes shorthanded. Imagine.
I don't think you could do it with hockey, but with soccer with 11 guys out there, you can do it.
Yeah, possibly. It'd
be tough with hockey. So Langer, what are your thoughts after 2?
After 2, just look, I'm entertained.
Yeah,
and that's what's important. I'm entertained because
not been a snooze fest.
Because the Canadians, exactly, like they would play under Dominique Ducharme, and I hate to say it, but also Claude Julien, who I really respected as a head coach, but it was not fun hockey. It was just it was defensemen play defense, forwards just play forward, I guess, and try to dump and chase, and sometimes not chase.
Yeah.
Just dump and that's it, and play hang on hockey. So that's honestly kind of boring hockey.
Yeah.
So whereas now, well, thank you for calling us entertaining, user Ivanka. I really appreciate that.
I saw that.
But yeah, it's fun hockey. It's back and forth, fun hockey. And you know what? If they lose, who cares? It's actually a good thing if they lose, as we explained off the top. As I explained off the top of every single cast that I do at this season. It's okay if it's a good thing that they lose, especially if Caulfield scores, if Suzuki contributes, if Justin Barron scores his first NHL goal, if Brendan Gallagher gets on the score sheet after missing 8 games.
Yeah.
That's how you want to lose.
Yeah.
Just, oh no, Corey Schooneman by accident, a giveaway ends up in the back of the net. Oh no, a power play with Tim Stützle bearing one on the doorstep on the rebound. Oh shucks, whatever. You're getting everything that you want out of this game, and if you lose, okay, who cares? That's fine. So
I'm very much in the same boat. I'm very much in the same boat. Just draw some positives. Matthew Joseph's looking good. That's like positive for sure. I think Anton Forsberg's had better games, but he's helping us out with the better draft pick, so you can always spin it.
It's a win-win situation both ways so far.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find that link I had before. There we go. Okay, now it's working. It might be a little bit behind though. Okay, yeah. Got Justin Barron with John Liu, beauty.
John Liu, the legend. Yeah,
I know he's a legend.
He is.
I know.
I remember being like 8 years old watching him on TSN reporting live from Montreal.
If I'm ever a reporter, I'd want to be John Liu for sure.
Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, Justin Barron, like honestly, the fact that they're getting Barron some games and
I didn't expect
especially
him to be in the lineup.
yeah, me too. Like I didn't
Yeah,
expect
this
him
so
to be
quickly.
active.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good on them getting them in, seeing what they have.
Because no, he even Jordan Harris, like I was really impressed that they got him under contract and they got him in the lineup so quickly. Like it's even, and I would say because a couple of years ago they had to burn Ryan Paling's first year of entry level contract. Yeah, they had to burn a year off his entry level contract.
Is that when he had that 4-goal game against the Leafs in the shootout winner?
Yeah, that's when he had the hat trick and then the shootout winner.
I remember that. That was legendary. What's happened to him? He hasn't really lived up to that hype, has he?
I mean, he's a first round pick, but he was never really a guy that was expected to be a top 2 centerman. He was a guy like it would have been a bonus if he became that, you know, or if he becomes that. He could still maybe become that. You never know. But he's just more of a he's a guy that just kind of went the long way into getting drafted to playing out his entire college career to finally making his way on the roster. He basically went the long way. And that's fine. You know, it's fine. But ideally you'd want to see him be a little bit more of a it would be nice if he settles into a proper third line role, but then again, Jake Evans as a 7th round pick has kind of taken that over. So
yeah, Jake Evans has been a revelation.
Jake Evans and Arturi Lehkonen are maybe the only 2 success stories of drafting to player development to being a key member on the Canadiens under Marc Bergevin.
It's interesting. Yeah, I guess like when did Bergevin take over?
2012. 2013 was his first season.
I mean, he made some great trades, but I guess you might be right with like drafting like the whole way through the process. Yeah,
because also maybe Romanov, but he didn't get to really live that out, and arguably Caulfield. But
Bergevin made some great trades and some not so great trades.
I would say he made more great trades than not.
He
great
did.
Trades.
Like the only one I can think of that wasn't great was the Sergachev.
Yeah. Because here's the thing with Bergevin, when his motto was build through the draft, build to the draft, build to the draft. But as it turned out, he ended up building through free agency and trades.
Yeah.
You look at Jeff Petrie, trade. Philip Deneau, trade. Right? Back when Eric Stahl last year, trade. Shea Weber, trade. He had the OGs and Carey Price and Brent Gallagher, but besides that, all through trade.
Yeah.
So he went the complete opposite of what. And don't get me wrong, like I love when I love the free agency and trade routes of building your team, especially when done properly. And even if it helps you in the short term but hurts you in the long term, I am all for that because you're trying to be aggressive. You're trying to make a run to the playoffs, like almost like what the Columbus Blue Jackets did a couple of years ago, and they acquired Matt Duchene and like numerous other players.
Like Ryan Dzingel from the Sens. They had a big trade from the Sens year there. They gave up Duclair, who had a great year with the Sens too.
Now he's killing it in Florida.
I know. I don't know how the Sens didn't re-sign him.
I think it was more back there. I think it was he didn't want to go back there, but also he ended up representing himself as an agent.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So Florida's getting as much value as they can be out of him. I think he has like 20 points on the year, and also Anthony Duclair played for the one level above the level I played at back in the day.
Oh wow!
He was
watch him back in the minor hockey ranks.
Yeah, so he played midget AAA with the Lac St. Louis Lions, like major AAA major, while I was playing midget Espoir, which is midget AAA minor with the Lac St. Louis Tigers.
Oh,
so
okay.
So guys like Duclair, guys like also even Mike Matheson.
Yeah,
he was a year ahead of me. There's also Jonathan Drouin is actually my year, and he played on the Lions as well, but he's from St. Agathe, not from Lac St. Louis.
True.
Mark Barberio, who He was, I think he's in Europe now, but he's a
Yeah, he was
couple
on the
years ahead of me.
Olympics.
Yeah, Alex Killorn. Alex
Okay.
Killorn is like, I think he's a 92 born player, but
He's
he
old.
played. He actually shot on me.
Really?
He made me look stupid
Well,
a
he's pretty
handful of
good. Yeah,
times.
he's
I
pretty
stopped
good.
him a couple of times, but most of the time, like he just made me look absolutely stupid.
Well, he's two-time Cup champion. I would expect it.
And they don't call him killer for no reason. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. Like he's just he can pick, like when he has time and space, like he can pick a corner with the best of them for sure.
No, yeah, he's a great
Or
player.
at least pick a corner on 15-year-old me. So
That's funny. Killer.
but yeah, just he was a big part of the Stanley Cup final run, obviously with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I'm surprised they kept him. I'm surprised they were able to afford keeping him, and I think even the Canadians were in the running to re-sign him last year.
Yeah, I mean that would make a lot of sense. Because is that
Or
Lac St.
trade
Louis
for
just
him.
kind of outside of Montreal?
So Lac St. Louis is the West Island. It's kind of like,
Okay.
try to think like the equivalent of like it's kind of like Vaughan, I guess, but even more like North York, I'd say, because it's part
Yeah.
of, because some cities are actually part of Montreal.
Mhm.
So I guess it's like Vaughan or like
Just kind of
Scarborough.
just the outskirts, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of there's Lac St. Louis, and then there's like the Montreal hockey region, which is like the rest of the island and Laval.
Okay.
That's how it's, at least when I grew up, that's how it was set up. So
I
yeah.
need to get back to Montreal.
When was the last time you were in Montreal?
Wow. Oh god, that's from the grade 8. Like back in like 2011. It's been a while.
Really?
Yeah. I want to go for a Grand Prix. I want to go for Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah.
That would
We
be
should do a
amazing.
CSM trip to Montreal in the summer, maybe.
Oh, I love that.
That'd be sick,
I
eh?
need to get back to Montreal.
I've never been to a Grand Prix before, actually, in all the years I've lived in Montreal.
It's expensive, but it looks like a great time.
I've been to I've been to like the festivities on Crescent Street, of course, for our Grand Prix weekend, but never went to an actual race. But I got into.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched the, what's that F1 series again?
The Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't quite
really
seen
good.
that yet, but it's but I still really got into F1, I think, over COVID and just by playing F1 2018 on Xbox.
Yeah.
I've always had like
the games
an
are fun.
intrigue. Yeah, like I've always had like an intrigue for F1, but like I never really got into it. But I'd say like that year, a couple of years ago, I really did get into it. So
no, it's incredible sport. It's
what team are you? Who's your favorite team?
Oh, I don't really have a team. I mean, I like a couple of the drivers. Like, I like Verstappen. I like Charles Leclerc from Ferrari. I like Lando Norris. Like, their personalities too. Like, they're all cool guys. Like, you're kind of jealous of those guys. Like,
some of Kimi Räikkönen's a
premier athletes in the world. Yeah, he is. So
they are. They are though.
I mean, God, like, yeah, they're absolute studs. Like, they're like astronauts, honestly.
No, of course. But they're like when you think of like race car drivers, like F1 that drive, like that have to have a screw loose to drive 400 kilometers an hour in an F1 car. Like, they're right up there.
That goes without saying. You got to be a little nuts to get in that car.
But also just to be able to withstand the G forces and concentrate for an entire race, like they are actual athletes. And I also saw this guy on YouTube who actually had he did one of those drive an F1 car for a day type of things, right? And he talked about how he just they asked him to apply full brake power to calibrate it or something before taking the car out for a lap. And he literally is pushing with all his might with his left foot, right, as far down as he could. And he's like, okay, so that's like 50% brake capacity. And he's like, what? Or like 7% brake capacity. So just because
they are athletes, they're probably some of the most impressive athletes out there.
Yeah, because to stop a F1 car from 400 kilometers an hour and be able to slow down within like 100 meters of a hairpin turn, you have to stop pretty quickly. So
and then with
they're sensitive, all right.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. That's extremely impressive.
But yeah, so third period here, Mayday. What are you looking forward to the most of this Habs-Sens game, third period?
Well, I'm looking just forward to this game. Seems to be open, so I'm looking forward to some more good chances. I think there'll be a couple more goals. I mean, there are some star power in this game, and we've seen a little bit of it. So I'm looking forward to those guys. You know, Caulfields, the Suzukis, the Josh Andersons. You know, Batherson, Kachuk, Norris. I'm looking forward to those guys taking over and for one of these teams to go out there and win the game. We'll see who wants it more.
This feels like a game that the Canadians are totally going to lose in overtime.
Because I mean, this game going to overtime would be great. There'd be some great back and forth action. I think it's going to be a power play, really, that does it. Whoever gets a power play is going to win because the power plays have been on fire tonight.
Yeah, and both of them got a couple of nice chances, even outside of the goals that they scored. So yeah, I would say it could be a power play goal is a difference, but just I have a feeling that these are the games that the Canadians have just have lost in overtime. Perfect, like just by perfectly, I'm saying because they again have to not climb the standings too high. The perfect tank
where
loss.
It's competitive,
exactly.
But it's like no, I just couldn't quite get it done. I know. They're a perfect tank losses.
But and I'm still impressed that they ended up beating Tampa even without Andre Vasilevsky in goal.
Yeah,
because the Canadians they hadn't won in Tampa since 2017. I guess that was karma for sweeping them in the 2014 playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in retrospect, I guess maybe I wouldn't have wanted to sweep Tampa in the 2014 playoffs, although that was courtesy of Anders Lindback. Yeah, Lindback is just and Lindback was the early 2010 version of Mikko Koskinen.
I never thought I'd hear that name again. Anders Lindback.
He was the reason why the Canadians basically won that series as easily as they did. Like Tampa was
what a classic name.
Yeah, Tampa was competitive in the series. They lost one. Montreal won, I think. What was it? 2 games in overtime and 1 at like the last minute in Game 4. Like Pacioretty had to squeak one by the. Don't even try to. I don't remember that Latvian goalie's name, Gudlevskis or something.
No idea.
Who also stood on his head against Team Canada in 2010 Vancouver Olympics.
Yeah.
The 2014 Vancouver, Sochi Olympics. So he stood on his head against Canada. And then he stands on his head against the Habs in Game 4, where it's like, man, could this guy be the reason why the Habs actually might not be able to close out the series? But then Pacioretty just like snuck one by him with like a minute left of Game 4.
Could he beat Tampa's Halak?
He could have been maybe if they didn't stick with Lindback as long as they did.
Yeah.
But they finally ended up making the right decision and switching, and but it was too late. It was too late, and Lindback just was again. I still can't believe Koskinen has even a job where he plays more than 20 games in the NHL. He is actually the worst. I think the worst goalie in the NHL. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean. He's probably the worst goalie that people think is the best. Or that gets the most chances.
Yes, that's I think what you meant. Yeah.
Because I still think people believe in him.
No. He's just
I still think some people do. I know you don't.
I feel like he's gotten worse over his career.
Somehow. I don't think he's ever been that good. Like I remember being stunned when he got that extension, and then the next day Chiarelli got fired because they gave it to him. Do you remember that?
I think we're back in the third period here. Yeah, we're in the third period. So we are back. The Sens, remember, are on the power play for another 40 seconds or so before going back to even strength.
Oh my goodness, I just saw something.
And then here's Josh Norris. Let's see what that something is. Brandstrom across. We'll get it back to Norris. One-time shot gets deflected. They score. There you go. There's Brady Tkachuk with his second of the game to give the Sens the 4-3 lead here in the third period.
See it. It's the Norris. Oh, that looked like it could have been about 3 guys who scored that one.
But like
It got a funny
pinballed its way
bounce.
through.
Yeah, I think it might have been Drake.
I think they're gonna give it to Brady. It looks like.
No, it hit Brady and then hit Drake like a second after.
Oh
I
my!
think it's
Seriously? Oh boy!
Batherson. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Batherson.
Yeah. It was just it like clapped its
I know it hit off everyone.
Off of Brady Kachuk, off of Allen, off of Batherson and in or
Yeah.
something. Or off of
It's either-
Romanov's inside of his knee
Yeah.
also.
The power plays are automatic in this game.
Stay out of the box if you are on either
honestly.
side for sure. So here's Nick Holden. We'll flip it out, but it's intercepted by Schooneman for the moment, but taken right back by Colin White. He'll dump it in. There's a Schooneman to play, but lost it to Formanton. Formanton in front. So a scramble in front, but the Sens could not convert there as now Colin White takes it right back. But nice interception there by Schooneman. He'll dump it out to Caulfield, but the pass is a little out of reach for Justin Barron. Caulfield gets it now, perhaps a 2-on-1. Caulfield waits, passes in front, but Suzuki was not quite there to finish that play. But Schooneman tries to hold the zone. Can't. And now finally, it is knifed into the Habs zone by Connor Brown before going for a change. Now here's Jordan
that was a tough
Harris.
Play with Caulfield there. He was looking. He had maybe should have shot that one. You think?
Maybe. I think he just didn't have enough leverage on the defenseman there to get a good shot off, which is why I think he just did a hope for the best type of pass to the front of the net. And now Allen makes a nice save on Matthew Joseph. I think that hurt him a little bit, or maybe some sort of equipment might have detached, but he seems a little uncomfortable after that shot by Matthew Joseph. So here's Josh Anderson now. Loses it. Now back the other way comes Josh Norris. He'll just dump it in. No one home for Ottawa. They're completing a change. David Savard will set things up for Montreal. Savard to Harris. Jordan Harris will throw it all the way across. Nice pass to Armia. Armia gets slowed up there by Austin Watson. And coming out with it is Connor Brown. Or I think that's Adam Gaudette, rather. Intercepted by Romanov. Romanov throws it in behind Forsberg's net. Now here's Artem Zub. Zub's pass gets knocked down in the middle, but then now here comes Austin Watson down the right wing. Shot on net, stopped by Allen. Rebound given up, but right there is Christian Dvorak to lead the rush the other way from Montreal, but his pass finds no one except Artyom Zub, and he'll turn it back the other way. Zub will go D to D and back to Zub. Zub, long stretch pass through the middle, is too far for any Senator, but it gets deflected, so no icing. Gallagher now for Montreal. Can't quite get it in deep. Nice little stick check there by Connor Brown. Shoot him in now. Canadians will gain the zone in behind the net. Kept in at the line there by Ylonen. Now here's Nick Holden. Holden will flip it out ahead to Drake Batherson. Batherson applying the pressure. But now here's Paling. Paling over the Ottawa line. Paling, stick handling, loses it in his skates off a nice stick check by Nick Holden. And now past ahead, Schooneman to Justin Barron. Barron is cut off by Connor Brown. Now here comes Connor Brown. Fanned on the shot. We'll pass it behind the net to Parker Kelly. To Connor Brown behind the net. But there is Rem Pitlick to intercept it and get it to Caulfield across, but not in Suzuki's wheelhouse. So Ottawa comes back the other way. But now Harris will get it and throw it around the zone there. And now here's Connor Brown intercepting it at the blue line. Connor Brown below the goal line to Colin White. And before Nick Suzuki jumps right back on it, Nick Suzuki will just dump it in and go for a change. A little sloppy play here by Montreal early in the period.
Yeah, good. I mean, again, there's been some long stretches in this game without a whistle, eh? But, just some back.
Now we have an offside.
Yeah, just some back and forth action. Couple little chances here and there. Some sharp angle shots. Yeah, Jake Allen took one up. Yeah. Oh god.
It was right off the
They're
side
showing
of
the
the
replay
face.
of him now. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was struggling after that, but it seems to be all right now.
Yeah, and also in pro goaltender masks, as you notice, they don't have that extra bar in their cage like you do in minor hockey
Yeah.
or in junior. So they could get a puck or a stick possibly really close to the
Oh,
face in that extra opening of the cage.
yeah. No,
They
that's
could see a
scary.
lot
That's
better,
scary
but
for sure.
also the puck can make its way through there if they're very unlucky. And
Yeah.
now Mike Hoffman will throw it onto Anton Forsberg, and he'll just cover up and force a whistle.
Can the Sens hold the lead? I'll pull up a stat here on the Sens
Let's hear the stats.
After the second period when they're leading and when they're down. Okay, here it is. The Sens, after 2 periods, when leading 18-1-2, when trailing 129-1. So
very about consistent at holding leads.
I know they weren't leading technically, but they kind of were because it was a couple seconds into the third. But they're okay at holding on.
Will that make all the difference tonight? We will see as Josh Anderson behind Forsberg's net to Jake Evans. Evans' quick shot by Hoffman misses the net. And now here's Nick Holden. Intercepted at the blue line, kept in. Here's Jake Evans' shot stopped by Anton Forsberg. Rebound in the corner taken by Nick Holden. And the Sens will get it out to center off of Gaudette's stick, who will dump it in off Jake Allen, who will play it to Jake Evans. Evans to Romanov. And now out with Mike Hoffman. Hoffman will deflect it into Ottawa's zone. Evans there to forecheck. Can't quite get there. And now back the other way is Adam Gaudette. And Ottawa will just dump it into the Montreal zone. Here's Corey Schooneman now. Back the other way. Schooneman will dump it into the Ottawa zone. Dvorak can't quite get to it, but holding the line is Justin Barron. Justin Barron to Dvorak. Dvorak in front. Oh, Paul Byron could not quite get a stick on that. He was in a prime scoring up zone, but he could not quite get a stick on it. Armia across with a shot on net stopped by Anton Forsberg, and he will cover up for a whistle.
See if Forsberg can make some saves here. He's been looking a little shaky at times.
Like you said, though, I find he's been pretty consistent with his glove at least. So anything that's in his glove on his glove side, he's catching and holding on for a rebound, though. So at least he's had that going for him. Whereas I find Jake Allen a couple of times, not just today, but in the last couple of games, I feel like, again, he's very steady, very consistent, very poised in his net. But I find he lets some rebounds on his glove side get away from him. Pucks that he should ideally catch, but he kind of lets them get away from him sometimes.
Yeah, the old Matt Murray.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the perfect blocking goaltender.
Yeah.
Not reacting goaltender.
Yeah.
And
I feel bad for Matt Murray, honestly, but
well, I don't feel bad for him because he has back-to-back Stanley Cup rings, so
yeah,
I don't feel that bad for him, to be honest.
You're right on that.
We're over 7,000 likes also here, Mayday.
Is that a big night?
It's a big night. It's a good night in the COLORCAST world. So yeah, thank you to our wonderful audience. Let's keep it up.
Yeah, let's go.
So, but this game again is moving on pretty quickly because not a lot of whistles and already under 14 minutes here in the third period. But I will say though, again, Montreal has not really been. I just find their passes have not quite connected as much in this third period. Like they're just not as sharp as they were at parts in the first and second period. I find.
Yeah, I think it's gonna maybe have to come from a power play for them.
Interestingly enough, although they got I don't think they got a power play goal. They just got a lot of odd man rushes against Tampa.
Yeah.
So they haven't quite been able to, it feels like every time there's an odd man rush, they either go for the fancy play or Ottawa just does a good job back checking to take away any pass option. And that pressure forces like a weak shot attempt or just not a good scoring chance.
Yeah.
So Ottawa's been doing a good job neutralizing the neutral zone.
Yeah, the thing about the Sens is that they play with good structure. They play hard. A lot of times they don't have the skill to get the win, and they've had a lot of injuries this year, but they always play hard and they always play with some structure.
Also, where do you think the expression "getting sensed" comes from?
Getting Sens just comes from them beating teams that they have no business beating. Or last year they were coach killers. I think they got Claude Julien fired after they beat Montreal. They got Jeff Ward fired in Calgary after beating the Flames. So it's kind of just like an underdog thing. Like when you lose to the Sens and you shouldn't, you get sensed.
It's the whole trap game.
Yeah.
Phenomenon as well.
The old Guy Boucher system that they used to have with the trap.
Oh man. He's a great hockey mind, but he's a great communicator, but
he's a great system coach, but his system just happens to be the most boring style of play in the history of hockey. So
yeah,
people don't love it.
And by the way, Parker Kelly just tripped over the blue line there.
Yeah, I saw.
And battling in the corner with.
It's all right. The reason Parker Kelly's playing is because they scratched Chris Tierney, and it's about time. Chris Tierney's
really.
Yeah. I don't know if he's up to snuff anymore. He's
Colin White's shot, by the way, just completely missed the net there and it goes out of play. So we'll have a whistle to the left of Jake Allen. I thought Chris Tierney had a good year last year, though. I thought he was like one of those guys that they were trying to build around.
Yeah, I mean, he's very streaky, but he's just he's not very good offensively. Like whoever plays on a line with him will not score.
The black hole, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So now Josh Norris in front of Jake Evans or Dvorak, or no, Paling. It was Paling won the faceoff, and Ilonen will clear it in behind Anton Forsberg. Forsberg will dump it way ahead, out of the reach of Brady Tkachuk. I think he saw Brady Tkachuk as a breakaway option.
Yeah.
Either way, Ilonen drops it off for Paling. Paling towards the net, glove down by Forsberg, who thought about playing it, but opts for the whistle.
Forsberg with that good glove.
That consistent glove, which honestly, I think that's a misconception that European goalies typically have weak gloves because they don't play baseball as much. I think that's misconception.
Interesting. Honestly. That's interesting. I've actually never heard that, but that's interesting.
Because I know that I played baseball and I actually trusted my blocker side more than my glove side. Maybe because I'm weird. I don't know. I feel
like it's quite different, though. I feel I never played goalie, but I feel like it is a bit different. Is it?
Kind of, but I think also mentally, I just felt more confident in my blocker side because I had a more of an abundance of equipment there. Like I had a blocker and a stick, not just a glove. So I felt more. As Evans gets a quick shot, gets stopped by Forsberg. Rebound is kept in at the line there by Barron, and pass makes its way just out of Barron's reach. Hoffman rather, right there to play it. Hoffman gets knocked off the puck, and now here the other way comes Adam Gaudette over the Montreal line. Adam Gaudette being watched by Schoenemann. Gaudette still with it. A nice battle along the corner, but Evans comes out with it, and here's Josh Anderson now. Anderson gets it to Evans. Evans can't quite handle it as he was a little offside there. Evans finds Byron off the bench. Now here's Josh Anderson to Byron. Byron to the point, but too late for Schoenemann. Nice little back check there by Schoenemann. I think that was Jordan Harris, actually. Watching it on a smaller screen again here. So here's now Michael Del Zotto up ahead to Stützle. Stützle delays. Stützle gets bumped by Byron, and Savard will quickly feed Dvorak, who will just dump it in after taking a little shove there from Stützle. Maybe Stützle's diving is rubbing off on Dvorak for a little bit.
That was a nice dive by Dvorak.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I don't know if Stützle's that strong or if Dvorak just dove, to be honest.
He's getting stronger.
Yeah. Edmondson long stretch past the Pitlick to Suzuki. Suzuki over the Ottawa line. Suzuki across the Caulfield, but cut off there by Zub. And now here comes Connor Brown over the line to White. Looks like Parker Kelly couldn't quite deflect that in. And now pass for Caulfield is too long. Zub cuts it off. Dumped into the Montreal zone. Taken by Edmondson. Stretch past the Pitlick. Nice couple moves to escape a couple of Ottawa Senators at the Montreal line. Pitlick now through center. Over the Ottawa line now. Poke checked into the corner there by Forsberg. And now Brady Tkachuk will delay and give it to Nikita Zaitsev on the other side. Now here's Connor Brown. Shot. Stopped by, that was Josh Norris. Stopped by Jake Allen. But turnover at the Montreal line. Here's Matthew Joseph. Matthew Joseph to Tkachuk. Tkachuk gets knocked down by Jordan Harris, of all people. Now Palin gets bumped by Joseph before feeding David Savard. Savard stretch pass to Ilonen. The shot towards the net, stopped by Forsberg. Big rebound given up, but right there is Parker Kelly. But he loses it. Gallagher, quick shot, blocked down in traffic. Here's Paling.
Oh, no.
to Brett Gallagher. To Ilonen. That means something's going to happen now. And now Gallagher forechecking on Stützle. We do have a penalty coming up to Montreal.
I just thought you'd think that was a dive.
But he didn't fall though. Like, I don't know if he. I'm gonna want to see the replay on this before making any judgments. How about that?
Yeah.
So Stützle does draw a penalty as here comes the Sens over the Montreal line. Quick shot, and they score. Ottawa takes a 5-3 lead. That was Colin White snapping it by Jake Allen, and the lead is now 2.
That was he did catch him with a stick, but no, that was a nice goal from Colin White there. Good to see. He's had a tough road in Ottawa too. He had a shoulder injury most of the year. He's coming back from that, so that's good to see. I think people are saying he might get bought out this offseason, so he might be playing to keep his contract. So you'll have to see it from Whiter.
What's his cap hit?
Oh, it's quite a bit. I think he's got the highest, or no, not anymore. Let's see. I think it's like 4.6 or something.
Ooh, that's rough.
It's a lot.
Although Christian Dvorak is also like 4.3 or 4 point something. So
he signed a 6-year, $28.5 million contract, so 4.75. So
when did he sign
healthy.
that?
I think 2 years ago.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, so he's a buyout candidate. But that's a big goal. Hopefully keeping him in contention to keep his contract, stay with the boys.
8 points in 18 games this year. Could you just not stay healthy?
Well, in preseason he had a shoulder injury and he had surgery. I think it was basically the exact same injury that Pinto had. So he's been out since like he's played 18 games starting like the last 18 games he's come back for. He was out for a while.
So Suzuki or a Barron shot stopped by Forsberg. Schoenemann holds the line to Armia. Armia shot towards the net, gets deflected high. Nice job by Barron to keep the pressure along the half wall. And here is Armia who falls. No penalty. Finally, there's a penalty. The ref in the corner didn't raise his hand, but the ref in the neutral zone calls it. So the Canadians will go back on the power play. And just to finish the conversation there about Colin White, I think maybe give him another year because if it sounds like this year is just more of like an injury riddled season. So I wouldn't be so quick to buy out a player who has 4 or 5 more years left on his contract that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I think it's worth keeping him around. Maybe a 4th line guy. I think he could be a good 4th line guy.
Not even a 3rd line guy?
Maybe 3rd line. Maybe play with like Pinto and Colin White or Connor Brown. Sorry.
And the question becomes what to do with Chris Tierney, I guess.
Well, I don't think he'll be on the Senators, and quite frankly, I don't even know if he'll be in the NHL. He's had a rough year, to say the least. He's a decent penalty killer, but just offensively, he's just not. He won't cut it.
I just want to pull up his stats here. What is it? He is 17 points in 58 games. So, like, yeah, not great this
Not
year.
great.
But
Yeah.
trying to see his career high, 39 points in 81 games back in 2018, 2019. So,
Yeah, so
or
he's
48 points.
never been like he's always kind of been like a penalty kill shutdown guy, but I just think for the way the Sens want to play, I just don't think they have I just don't think he fits.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe he needs a change of scenery, play with some different guys, play a different role. But
so they'll have Colin White. Trying to think, Colin White, Stutzla, and Josh Norris as the 1, 2, 3, probably, or Colin White could maybe be a fourth line guy. Yeah, that would suck to pay a guy $4 million
yeah,
as a fourth
on the
liner,
fourth line,
but
right? I think because
we'll see.
I
Because
think Pinto is going to
he
be.
also,
I believe Pinto is going to be the third line center moving forward. If I were to guess.
yeah, and you also don't want to buy, but you also don't want to buy out a player with
Yeah,
that much term and cap left on his
yeah,
contract. So
no, for
So
real.
Canadians on the power play. Dvorak can't quite win. The faceoff is controlled by Nick Holden and kept in though by Mike Hoffman for the moment, but cleared finally by Ottawa to burn off a couple of seconds of the early part of this power play. Is Montreal going to tie it? They're going to score here. I don't know. I'm not feeling it as much as it was before, so we'll see. Suzuki threw a couple of Senators there, getting it to Dvorak, to Caulfield, to Gallagher as they set up. Gallagher to Caulfield, cut off though by Zaitsev. To the point here is Dvorak. Now Gallagher to Caulfield, to Suzuki. Can't handle that. So Hoffman at the point. He gets it from Suzuki. Hoffman across to Caulfield. Caulfield, nice fake pass, but the shot goes off of a skate and out of the zone. Canadians maintain possession, at least in the neutral zone, though, trying to get set up as they'll look to keep this first wave out there. Hoffman delays still. There's under 7 minutes to go here in the third period. Still 5-3 Ottawa after that recent Colin White goal. And Ottawa does regain possession, and they will clear it into the Montreal zone for a likely change.
There's Justin Barron on the power play there.
Yeah, Justin Barron getting power play time. And I still don't see any Jordan Harris just yet. Got the second wave out there for Montreal. Here's Rem Pitlick across. And to the point, here is Armia to Barron. To Pitlick. Pitlick. Back to the point to Barron. Barron to Pitlick towards the net. Josh Anderson couldn't quite stuff it in just yet, or didn't try to. Here's Armia now. Armia. The other side. Full shot there by Justin Barron. Blocked. Barron gets it back to Armia. Penalty expires. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Armia to the point. Barron's got to watch Zaitsev. Got to watch the guy coming out of the box. Hamonic. And Armia passes in front, but is cut off. And finally, Ottawa will break out with Matthew Joseph. Maybe a 2-on-1 with a back checker. Joseph cuts to the net, but he gets stick checked by Armia. Good back pressure by Armia to cut off that chance for Matthew Joseph. Now, Batherson forces a turnover. Batherson with a shot stopped by Jake Allen with the glove. He saw that all the way. He'll force a face-off to his left.
That's a big kill for the Sens.
Big kill indeed. I feel like that was the Habs' chance to really give them a better chance to come back in this game, but didn't really get any good looks on net, to be honest.
No, nothing too great. They had some good sustained pressure, but Matthew Joseph looks pretty good, eh?
So Matt, I'm trying to what's his back. I think he's actually also from Montreal, like playing in the Montreal region of like AAA hockey. He's from Laval, yeah. So he played, I think, for Montreal Laval AAA.
Yeah, I know he played in St. John.
Yeah,
in the Quebec League with Shabbat, which is a nice story. And he played on like the World Junior team.
He's a 4th round pick from by Tampa in 2015, but did not really establish himself until 2020 when he played 50. Actually, sorry, he played 70 games in 2018, 2019. Interesting. So I guess he earned a spot in training camp 4 years ago with Tampa, and then just stuck ever since.
He's got 8 points in 6 games with the Sens, and I think he's got at least 1 tonight. So it's been a good move so far.
How do you get like those 5 points the other night?
Yeah, he had a hat trick
That's
on Friday night.
insane. Like a hat trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 assists, right?
Yeah. Well, you're playing Detroit. They give up goals.
Yeah. Does Detroit have literally the worst goaltending in the NHL?
I think they have like I think they are the worst team in terms of giving up goals in like the last 25 years. I think they give up the most goals per game in like the past like 25 years.
I mean, the Leafs put 10 on them, but then they gave up 7. Like, we all remember that.
The Pens put 11 by them. Yeah. The Pens beat them 11-2.
Wonder what the most 10-plus goal games is by a single team in an 82-game season.
Yeah.
That's a trivia question.
I'm sure it was probably a while ago when goal scoring was a little bit easier.
In the 80s or 90s for sure. As a puck is kept in by Romanov. Romanov's shot towards the net is blocked down by his own man. And now back the other way comes Batherson with Tkachuk, who will just dump it in behind Jake Allen. Allen plays it to Edmondson. The official got in the way, causes a turnover. It's Parker Kelly off the bench to put some pressure, but Stützle loses it to Romanov behind the net to Byron and out to Ryan Poehling. Poehling over the Ottawa line, chips it in, goes off for a change. Travis Hamonic will get it ahead to Connor Brown. Connor Brown over the Montreal line. Brown to the front, but nice diving poke check by David Savard. Caulfield in the corner with Suzuki. Suzuki battling there with 2 other Sens and Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris manages to escape with it, but still being watched by Colin White. And now here is Rem Pitlick over the right wing, but he is offside at the Ottawa line, so that will be a whistle at the Ottawa blue line.
Great play by Savard there.
Yeah, that's what a good veteran, well-calculated diving poke check to break up that pass in front, because that was a nice scoring chance that Ottawa could have had there, led by Connor Brown.
Yeah, I usually back Connor Brown to find someone there, but great play.
I feel bad for Jake Evans, as you can see, going to the dressing room. He's just a guy that cannot stay healthy, as there's a chance back in front. A big rebound popped off of Anton Forsberg's pads, but yeah, he could not. He's just always seemingly getting injury after injury. And Montreal emptied the net there, and Ottawa scores to make it 6-3. And with 4 to go in the game, Chris, I think that should pretty much do it. Eh?
Congrats on the win, Mike.
Yes, thank you. Congrats on the win, Chris.
Yeah, you got
Congrats
the win.
On the win, loss, win.
Yeah, exactly. We both win tonight. Ooh, that player, who is that going down in a heap there?
Justin Barron. It was just an awkward. Oh, that's not a good look. Yeah, he just went down awkwardly, got the knee kind of tied up there. Yeesh, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. St. Louis, pretty aggressive. When you say,
but I think ever since Patrick Roy started doing it a couple of years ago, I'd want to say like around 2015, 2016. I think a lot of teams are trending towards now pulling their goalie with more time left, because if they need 2 goals, then you need the time to score those 2 goals. So they just
you need to get
not be more aggressive.
So, might as well
exactly
push for it. Yeah.
So Montreal wins the ensuing draw, and they cleared into Ottawa's zone, taken by Zaitsev, but the pass is too long for Holden. And once again, Ottawa trying to get out of their zone. They do, with Alex Formanton down the right wing. Alex Formanton leaves it for Stützle to Batherson. Can't quite get a shot off there. I think that was Austin Watson on that line. Now here comes Dvorak. Dvorak will just chip it into the Ottawa zone. Forsberg out to play it. Leaves it for Josh Norris, who fell.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, he just blew a tire there.
He got hit by the sniper up in the 500 level.
Yeah. Just blew a tire there. But now here comes Brady Tkachuk down the right wing. Runs out of space as he was cut off there by Edmondson. And now here is Norris. You go D to D between Zaitsev and Hamonic. And now here comes Matthew Joseph towards Norris, but turned back the other way. Here comes Gallagher. Gallagher down the left wing gets chipped up in the corner has a pretty nice hit there by I think that was Travis Hamonic who just completely knocked Gallagher into the corner. And 2.5 to go here in the game, or the third, I should say, unless the Habs score 3 goals in the next 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Jordan Harris has to escape a hit, and he does, but turns it over to Connor Brown. Pass all the way across, doesn't find its way to Pitlick. And there is Artem Zub with a pass ahead, and it's chipped into the Montreal zone, and Ottawa will go for some changes here. So now here is David Savard. Savard, quick up to Suzuki. Suzuki to Caulfield. Caulfield loses it, and Jordan Harris is right there to recover it and lead things right back the other way from Montreal, back in the Ottawa zone behind Forsberg's net. Again, under 2 to go here in the third period. Ottawa leading comfortably 6-3 as a lot of people have left the Bell Center, although this could be this could have maybe been a situation where it was like the game I went to where the Habs were down 4-1 and the Habs managed to come back all the way from down 4-1 with 5 minutes it was like 4 minutes to go in the
I respect your hopefulness, Mike. I really do.
Yeah, maybe not with 1:20 left, but
I respect it still.
So Sogard played.
Oh boy. Here we go.
So we got some.
Why do they hate Stützle so much? I just don't get it.
Because he's a diver.
Gallagher and him
Gallagher just giving him the business. And we got everyone joining. I don't blame him for hating Stützle, honestly. Just give him the business. And Gallagher's just dropping the gloves with him now.
I know. They're throwing him, and Stützle.
Gallagher just not showing any signs of rust or interest in just taking things easy in his first game back. No. Got Ilonen with Formanton. Batherson tied up with a man as well.
They're lucky Kachuk wasn't out there.
Yeah, Gallagher actually. Stützle's ended up on top of Gallagher.
I know. He's lipping at him too.
So we'll see how the officials at this point will probably just toss players out of the game to to let tempers just relax. And just Gallagher just was like, I'm just gonna give you the business right now.
I know he wasn't happy. Well, he tried to get a reverse hit on him, and then he just put him in a headlock. I mean, there's probably some frustration. Obviously, Gallagher's not really a guy who's used to losing much. As season wise, he's used to making the playoffs, being part of competitive teams.
He had some extra words there for some Senators, it appeared, as he went off the ice there.
Yeah, that's what you love. Some Canadian teams going head to head. What is it from Ottawa to Montreal? 2 hours ish? 4 maybe, or
4. I could get there in less than 2. I think I've gotten from Ottawa to Montreal in under 2 hours before. I think I've done that in an hour 50 minutes or an hour and 40. Yeah. The fastest I ever did was an hour and 40 minutes back in the day when I would try to test the limit of the speed limit.
I would definitely say this is a rivalry though.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with all the playoff matchups they've had in the past 15 years. Yeah.
It's almost a bigger rivalry.
So much, but
it's almost a more bitter rivalry than Montreal-Toronto from a playoff perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
More playoff battles between these two teams than Montreal-Toronto.
Yeah.
At least, historically.
I think there's been about 5 in the last 15 years.
Let's see, 2012. Why is Caulfield going off of all people? He's probably just serving the
He's just whatever.
Gallagher penalty. Yeah,
I'm not going to kill penalties anyways.
Yeah, so he'll serve the Gallagher penalty, it looks like. And I think Ottawa will probably get a power play out of this and maybe get a chance to make this 7-3 and make it a nice touchdown, a field goal score here.
Yeah.
Face-off is won by Montreal, though.
Red Blacks against the Alouettes.
Yeah, Red Blacks, Alouettes. And a very crappy preseason game. But no, this was honestly an exciting game. This was Montreal, the Habs, they came back, made it close, but ultimately they take the L, they will take the L, which was just what they needed. And Ottawa just comfortably stays ahead of them in the race to not get the first overall pick. So cool with that.
No, I will definitely say I think this game was a lot closer than the score indicates. I think it could have gone either way, just a bounce here or there. breather team. And yeah, no, it was great doing this with you, Mike. It was a good game.
Yeah, so there's
Good game for
15
sure.
seconds to go here in the third period. The Sens just going to play a little ring around the rosy in their own zone, in the neutral zone, keeping it away from the Habs to burn off the last 5 seconds of this game. And that will do it from the Bell Center. The Sens win 6-3, the final score. And yeah, just Mayday. I appreciate you having on, as especially as a Sens fan, to give
Yeah,
your
no,
input as
of course.
from the opposing side. But yeah, we're just around 8,000 likes also on our ColorCast stream as well. So it was definitely a lot of fun doing this with you, Mayday. And I will see you tomorrow for when we or I also actually we transferred me the Masters bit that we did.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
Yeah, for sure, buddy.
But from Chris May, also known as Mayday, I'm Mike Langer. Thank you so much for joining us both on ColorCast and on youtube.com/Langer at the mic. The Sens win 6-3. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you again next time.